All right, everybody, welcome to the I Disagree podcast. You know, I can honestly say the reason why we've named it I Disagree is because it's two words I believe that have not only changed my life, but we all wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't say I disagree. So here's basically what we stand for. In the past 3 years, there has been more disagreements, controversies, opinions, ideas, failed expectations, character reveals, surprises, disappointments, lies, beliefs, assumptions, and bullshit than ever before. Here we go. You guys ready for the first one? Yeah, I actually did have to change them, so it's kind of funny. So
That's great.
All right, everybody, we are live. Welcome. And wow, I walked in and we have all guys. The testosterone is high today, Dana.
It's great. I'm so happy.
It's Dana and the boys.
The dudes.
Dudes.
Was it like 5 men and 5 men and or 5? Yeah, 6 men and a woman. Yeah, wait, Dana and dudes. Oh, that's a good one. Dana and the dudes.
I know. We got to brand that.
All right, so hey everybody, how's it going? Thank you, Dana, and thank you, Travis, last week for doing a wonderful podcast. I was traveling cross country. I was in 5 states in 5 different days speaking, and I didn't get to watch it live, but I got to watch it the next day on my ride. I apologize, 2 days later. I got to watch it on my ride as I was traveling, but you guys had a wonderful time with the guests that were there, and obviously great conversation and everything. So excited for tonight because, you know, we got some pretty awesome guests and stuff like that. We got some return guests, got some people that I know. I actually know everybody on the podcast today, and so it's kind of fun. So what we're going to do is, as we always do, we're going to start down at the end, and we're going to have you introduce yourself, married, single, dating, you know, relationship status, work, what else we do?
Yeah.
Age.
Podcast, if you have one, career, business, whatever.
And something
Plug
special
yourself.
that you. Yes.
My name is Dan Melke, 54 years old, married for 32 years. I work for the city of Green Bay. I'm a vice president of the Labor Association there, and just enjoying working.
Yes, you were on the first podcast.
I was.
And things have
was.
changed a bunch since then.
Yeah.
More cameras and
I'm
everything.
happy to be back.
A gift bag.
Yes.
Excited to be back.
You got a gift now.
Yeah, you
and
get
stuff,
gifts now.
Yeah, new glasses.
Uh-huh. Yes.
All right, I'm David, 36, married 15 years, been with my wife for 20, high school sweethearts. Worked in Department of Corrections for 15 years, and just within the last year, I've started my own business and owner-operator of a lawn care company. So it's my transition time from lawn to snow, and it all happened in one day.
Yes.
Nice.
Hey, we got some snow today. It was kind of fun watching outside that way.
3 inches.
My sympathies.
3 inches on the east side of Green Bay.
No, was it really?
Yep.
Oh, we got flurries here and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, the east side, it was like the river just exploded.
No kidding.
Wow.
Well, I'm leaving soon, so that's okay.
Yes.
Travis.
I'm not too far behind you.
Yeah, not
either.
fire. Yep.
Well, I'm Travis, co-host here. 42, but I'm going on 8. But I read at a 10-year-old level, so we got that going for me.
Accurate.
Yes. I am blessed to be married for 10 and a half years to my smoking hot wife, who is in the audience. I'm always blessed to have that. And I work here. I wear many hats, and I love all of them. And it's just a blessing to be sitting here. And I look great in this new picture I got.
I saw the
It
new
is so
picture.
good. That is
I
so
saw
good.
a new picture.
I'm
It's like-
excited for those.
I got no food in my teeth or anything. That's
Yes.
I get stared at all night.
Yes, you do.
Aw.
They had to go redo mine because my eyes looked like demonized. Not that picture, a different one.
I
They had to
just-
go like lighten them up because they were completely black.
I just figured you were always angry. I don't know.
I'm not. I am very happy all the
just-
time. I'm
remember,
just very passionate. Do
doesn't-
not confuse those things.
It doesn't say angry Dana. It says Dana disagrees.
Yes.
So I think she's angry. Okay. And speak of that, Dana.
My name's Dana. I'm 34. I have been married for 9 years. That's the woman, you're not supposed to forget that. But for 9 years, I have 2 boys that are 6 and 8, and I went to school for accounting. I've been a CPA, or I was a CPA for 10 years-ish. My license is actually just about to lapse. I'm not going to renew it because I decided to leave that career a little while ago, and I've always been really passionate about natural health, so I became a clinical nutritionist instead. And now I also obviously help co-host this podcast, and I have a social media account called Dana Disagrees, where I basically just support the patriarchy.
Excellent.
Awesome.
I'm Dean. I am a 12-year-old stuck in a 55-year-old man's body.
Hey, Dean.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. I'm in counseling. I'm in the business world. I work with a large company that we help farmers. So we are in a busy season right now, which is pretty fun. 3 kids. Been married 8 years, 7 years. Look, you rubbed that.
No.
7 years,
My
going on 8 years. We have 3 kids together, blended family. They're all medical. The youngest is going to med school to be a psychiatrist. The middle is a nurse, master's in nursing, going on to be a nurse practitioner, and the oldest is a radiology tech, and he travels. So he's on his way to Boise in about 2 weeks,
Nice.
leaving Mosinee, where he came from, Georgia. So it's kind of a fun group.
Yep.
Hey, I'm Antonio. I'm 25 years old. I have a girlfriend for 1 year and 6 days now.
Whoa.
Who's counting?
Someone's keeping track.
Way to,
Early in the
yeah.
relationship.
You know what happens after that 1 year mark? Ask any fellas. You
She's
know what
great.
happens?
She's great.
She's gonna be like, you know, where's the ring? You know what I'm saying? So
single ladies.
yeah.
The answer to that question, I'll be a doc here at the Wellness Way soon, so in
Yes.
January, and she will be eventually as well.
Yes.
So,
Yes. We have to say hi to her. How's it going?
hey, McKenzie.
That's right.
Hey, McKenzie.
She's awesome. We all get to spend time with her. It's great. So, well, welcome everybody. Like I said, it's kind of nice to be back because, like I said, last week I was traveling, and it was kind of neat because we're talking about some of the things that happened over time. Because remember, the podcast got started because Dana and I were sitting around one time after we had discussion at one of the events I was at speaking at. But this is so neat because the I Disagree tour started last week, and it's to promote the new I Still Disagree book. You know, saying so that's why people always say, Doc, what's the name of your new book? I said, well, the original bestseller was called Disagree, and now it's I Still Disagree. Because here's what happens: in the past 3 years, there's been more disagreements, controversies, opinions, ideas, failed expectations, character reveals, surprises, disappointments, lies, beliefs, assumptions, and bullshit than ever before. The purpose of it is to correlate different perspective on topics related to health, men and women, politics, and religion. I think those are extremely 4 important topics. And when I went around last week and started to talk more, because the original seminar I did was called the Hormone Connection Seminar. And of course, you're talking about men and women, and you're talking about the stuff in health. But then it was kind of nice because over the last 3 years, there's so much tied in with healthcare that happened in, it's kind of funny. It's lucky you were done during time because they try to force a vaccine on you and things like that. It's funny because I got to speak to thousands of people about, some of the things that they had to deal with, over the last, just in talking to them from Indiana to, the only thing that funny about is I went to Shipshewana, which is Indiana, which is a massive Amish community. They acted like during COVID, nothing was even there. Do you understand? And it's like, well, I had one Amish guy say to me, he goes, why would I be worried about a bug when I have my arm halfway up a horse's ass all the time? And stuff like that. Because he didn't have many horses and do things. It's kind of funny. It was like going, I'm just impressed that the Amish guy said ass to me. I was like,
I haven't had my arm up a
yeah.
cow's ass in a long time, at least last week or so.
I say,
Just making sure it was grass fed,
that's right. You got the good stuff. So remember, I do have some rules on the thing. Is the fact that's like, speaking of that, I like people to talk about the general rules. And we talk about the topics we talk about tonight. I got 2 of them. And it's great that we have all male panel tonight.
Yes, it is.
You're saying because it's going to be a great discussion. But then on top of it, if we ever talk about the rules, we talk about what makes society great, or what can even make it bad. And what people do is they always throw out some exception. The exception I always like to use is if a person says, well, if a person, just like me, I said, I don't like abortion. Well, immediately that people that support it, they always jump to an exception. Well, what about rape and incest? Okay, what percentage? That's a very fractions, 0.2, whatever percent it is, I think, statistically. So that's the exception, not the rules. The general rules is the majority of people just use it for birth control. So if we agree on that, then we can start on talk about the exceptions later. Or like people always debate about politics. We had a pretty good season come up here because within a year we're gonna have an election. And it's going to be funny. There's going to be massive debates, and people are going to talk about different things, and they're always going to talk about the exceptions, not the rule. But like I said, let's continue. So if we end up on the rules or off the rules, I'm like, hey, exceptions, not the rules, and stuff. So we're gonna do some pretty good stuff, and we're gonna talk about statement. Remember, start over with you, and we're gonna come around all the way to Antonio, and I'm gonna make a bold statement, and then we're gonna see if we agree or disagree. But you can find out. But just remember, just say I disagree. Remember that we changed it from the show because we used to say I disagree, and then why.
Right.
And by the time it came to the last person, people are like, I changed my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't want to do that. We want to actually just, let's say I disagree or agree, go all around, and then we'll come back to you, Dan, and we'll give you some opportunity to explain. Because even if we agree or disagree together, you'd be surprised why people agree or disagree, even has a little bit of difference. Mm-hmm. So here we go. And it's funny. That's why I said it's kind of funny having all guys. This would have been a good one for all girls too.
Yeah, I know.
You understand?
But
it's gonna be quite interesting because I think it's gonna be.
for both the statements, there's good male input for these, I think.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Except for I think when we do the second one, it's kind of funny. I had a video that has got it's like 500,000 views, and I was just talking about menopause, and a woman said on there, it's kind of funny. She said, "Hey, listen," she's like, "I disagree. A man should not be talking about if you don't have a vagina, you shouldn't talk about it." And I looked at her, and she was ugly and single. I said, "And that's why you're single." You see, it's like going, we need to talk about these issues just because you don't. Yeah, that's like saying, yeah, that's
So
like
don't watch the video.
yeah, exactly.
away.
Like don't. Yeah, I know it's and it just shows like if you had a guy, you wouldn't be sitting there commenting on my video that way. You'd have more important things to do, stuff like that. So here we go. Here's a statement. Dan, we start with you. Antonio, we'll go through this way. I apologize, Dana.
What?
You
didn't introduce yourself?
There you go. It's like
I
Dana's
know.
like Dana, a friend is like she started watching because Dana's like, well, wait, who's the host?
Yeah.
Okay,
I've
Patrick
gotten that a
Flynn.
few times now.
That's right. So started the Wellness Way 25 years ago now. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be that long. And everything started from those two simple words. I just disagreed with what healthcare did, and that's why healthcare is one of our topics. And that's transpired into everything we have here and now, and it's kind of cool. And so let's get into our topic. Here we go. My fast introduction, because I don't really care if people know who I am. So, all right, here we go. Here's a statement, Dan. I want you to think about it. You can pause for a second and go out there. Here it is. Nice guys are just males that do not have boundaries. Nice guys are just males that do not have boundaries. Now we're going to go around. We're going to skip me, and then we're going to have everybody explain. And so then this is my statement, so I truly believe, and then we're going to talk about it that way. But nice guys are just males that do not have boundaries. Dan, what you got for us?
I agree.
Dave.
I agree.
Agree.
I agree.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
Good.
I agree.
I
agree.
There had to be a sacrificial lamb here. Somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you said that because I like when people agree and disagree. Because if we find out, even if we agree, you're gonna find out not
all
everybody
different,
believes the
yeah.
same thing. That's one thing I can honestly say I learned from podcasts is that people can agree, but they can agree for totally different reasons. You understand? So let's do this. Dan, we're gonna start with you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
He agreed.
Okay. All right. All right.
He agreed. You were laughing though, and all of a sudden
okay.
when Dean said I disagree.
Sorry.
So I want to make the statement again, and then Dan, I want you to kind of give why you agree and stuff like that. And nice guys are just males that do not have boundaries. Do you ever notice I put the way I put the way male, not men? So, all right, what you got there, Dan?
Well, I think that if you have boundaries, a lot of people argue with you and argue against your boundaries. And then, so if you have boundaries, I'm not sure exactly. I think that when you don't have boundaries, you're open for anything. And when you have boundaries, people aren't willing to fight with you and challenge you. People are, I think, weak today, and so they don't challenge you. So you're just considered a nice guy because you have boundaries. And so that's kind of where I'm thinking with that.
Dave, what you got?
Oh, I'm going to piggyback off that. Just within the different industries that I've worked in, being the nice guy doesn't get you certain places. And I'm going to go back into the Department of Corrections. If you're the nice guy, you're not doing your job. So setting the boundaries and having those guidelines, that's something that you have to follow. A lot of times people don't like that, so you end up being the bad guy. That's easily depicted in 15 years of Department of Corrections. You go from max to guys on the street. The nice guys are usually the ones that get assaulted or spit on or shanked in prison, because those are the guys that you think you can trust, and they really aren't.
Travis.
So the way I took it was I put boundaries in this statement, and I thought of pushover and self-worth or lack thereof. And I believe that if you don't have boundaries, there's nothing you won't do. And at some point, your time has to be valued as something. Time is the biggest currency, in my opinion. So when you're allowing yourself to get pushed over because you're a nice guy and you don't have the boundaries to tell them to piss off, look, you hit your number, you hit your limit, it's time to move on, go elsewhere. I think you're doing yourself a disservice. So on top of that, how do you get to that point where you don't know when to stop or when to have a boundary? It's because you don't have any self-worth. You don't think you're worth anything. And that's just been my experience with humans of this world, in that if you don't have self-worth, you don't have good boundaries, and you end up being a good pushover. And you can really expand on that very deep. You can go, it's a wonderful rabbit hole to go down, but I think just to summarize it, I'm going to stick with if you don't have boundaries, you're probably a pushover, and you probably have no self-worth.
Dana.
Okay, so I'm going to obviously take it from the woman's
There you
perspective,
go.
and we're going to get a little bit different here because I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about any of those kinds of things. So on the woman's side, I mean, women tend to not really be as attracted to the nice guy, right? And if you want to define that, that's more of like the passive aggressive, the emotional, the one who doesn't really know how to protect and provide, like that kind of guy, versus, you know, the bad guy. I mean, he's not really bad. He's actually just, you know, a real man and is, you know, strong and masculine and competitive and aggressive and has all those kind of characteristics, right? If we want to like define things. And so women aren't really attracted to that nice guy, or they maybe would be, but probably only temporarily. That can't make it to the long term because, like we were saying, he doesn't really have boundaries. He's probably just doing whatever he can to try to please her. She's going to see he doesn't have those boundaries. And ultimately, whether men and women know this is going on consciously or not, like she's not going to respect him because of that. Men need to be able to tell their women no, because women actually, that's a respectable thing, regardless of what they might tell you. I don't care. But it also kind of comes down to like a hard nature versus soft nature in terms of men too, for that, like, you know, nice versus bad or whatever it is you want to call it. You don't want a man to be 100% hard natured because that's not going to be super attractive. Again, maybe for a little while, but not in the long run. But you can't have a man that's 100% soft natured because then he's the nice guy and he's the pushover and there's not going to be that strong attraction in your relationship in the long run. And so you can't have that 100% soft either. So you need to have some kind of balance in there, and probably like an 80% hard and 20% soft is probably pretty good, because that man can be masculine and protect and provide and be aggressive and all the things the men are supposed to do and have his mind, muscle, and money together. And then that 20% of the time he can be a little bit of that softer piece and he can meet his woman's needs.
Dean,
All
what you got
right.
for
That's
us?
that.
All right. Danny, you kind of helped my point, actually, because
Oh,
I was
well, wonderful.
flipping back and forth on whether I was going to agree or disagree on this whole thing. But the disagreement side of it for me was the play on the words. That you know, a male who's a nice guy, somebody without boundaries, made the assumption in my mind that either you're a nice guy or you're not. Black and white, right? I disagree. I agree. Black and white. Where I struggled with that, the question was, you can have boundaries and you can hold your ground and you can do all those things and you can still be, you know, nice to people, a nice guy. So I didn't go so deep into just one or the other. I was blending the two words together and trying to figure out how does this all work. So, you know, I would say Travis is a nice guy. Does he have boundaries? Probably, but that's also respectable, right? So you can be nice and have boundaries at the same time. I think the idea, the spin on this question was, are we going to have guys that are wimpy and soft? And as you spoke, Dana, I agree with everything you said. But men can be respectable, nice, upstanding citizens and have strong boundaries. And so that's where I was struggling with putting those two words together. And so for me, I think somebody who's milquetoast, right, just wimpy, can't stand their own ground, that's a whole different conversation.
Milk toast, I like.
Yeah,
But,
I've never heard of that before.
That might be an older phrase. I don't know. But I think for the rest of us who have boundaries, we stand by them, we have convictions, we have personality, we can also be nice, we can be respectable, we can be respected. And I think that's where the struggle for me was on the words. So for me, a nice guy can also have boundaries. But if we're talking about the wimpy, spineless type of guy, I don't consider those nice people. So,
Stylotype beta males. I know.
yeah. So
Antonio.
One.
I like how you made that point. That was pretty good. I think what's close to that, like, nice is not the word, but starting good, but being firm. Like, you don't have to be nice to be a good person. So when I think of somebody that's super nice, like, and in the question you said man, not male. So part of becoming a man from a boy is being able to say no and having those boundaries. And to have boundaries, you can't be nice all the time. That's like the point of a boundary. So good, not nice. You want to be a good man, not a nice man. That's pretty much I think that's similar
yeah.
to what you were saying.
It is.
If nice, yeah, because nice all the time, you can't put in boundaries if you're a nice guy. You have to be a good man, not a nice man.
Yeah,
So-
like nice guy and good men are different though, because the nice guy is like the wimpy kind of stuff that we're describing, but like your good man is ferocious and goes out and conquers the day and then comes home and lets his kids crawl over him.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not.
So, what is the most popular and most important word that a person can say if they have boundaries?
No.
No.
By far. Now, it's really funny. So, would you consider no to be agreeable or disagreeable?
Disagreeable.
Well, it's kind of funny. So, see, this is one thing that I love. I think that because of my love for history, and do you guys ever read, the writings of founding fathers and the constitutions of that? Do you ever see the language, how they speak? It's very eloquent. They use multiple, the amount of words that we use in our vocabulary. And Aaron's here, okay, being a teacher in English and language and being a writer, the words used by generations over the last 20, 30 years have gone down dramatically. You that's why if you ever read like some old literature, it sounds like a poem. They're talking very eloquently with a lot of words. So our vocabulary has gone down dramatically. And I've always said I'm a very big definition. You ever see me teach, I'm a very big person that likes to define what terms are. Well, it's kind of funny. The reason why I use the word nice guy, and so let's be a little bit more sassy, then we'll bring it in a little bit more classy.
yay.
That's right. I never met a girl say, man, I want to fuck that guy because he's nice.
Nope.
Do you
Because
say
he's like a friend. You don't want to have sex with your friend.
That's my point. But on top of it, because here's what happens. So the most common word associated with nice in its definition is agreeable and satisfactory. I've never seen a woman so just jacked up going, man, he's so satisfactory. You get my point, though? And see, and I know it's funny, but this
Hey,
is...
baby, you want some satisfactory
Yeah,
sex tonight?
And she'd be like, that'll be nice.
That will be agreeable, yes.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Hey,
but
well, now you know you're in.
yes. But
In.
Dino's good. I love this podcast. The stuff that comes out of our mouths. Okay. No, but think about it this way, and that's why if you look at culture itself, and you're looking, and you start doing interviews, you guys doing interviews on the street that way. If you ask the average woman, the woman that's like, I don't mean this negatively, but women that have not a lot of choices in men, they're just happy they got a guy. I don't care if they're nice or not. Do you understand? And that's why they marry what they can get. You get a girl that has any of the three S's, sexy, serene, and supportive. Guess what happens is they're not looking for a nice guy. Now, here's what happens. Now, I do like the word, and this is defined. That's why I kind of use the words. Kind. See, kind is different. Kind talks about being strong, having character. It's a group of people that have similar characteristics. And so what really happens is, the aspect of a kind man, you know what I'm saying? So you talk about that way.
Yep.
And they just have certain, qualities that allow them to actually be more attractive. Because a kind guy can say, listen, I can be kind and say no. Do you understand? But saying nice and no, you watch this. Watch a child when they're little. Not even taught this. They want to play with that toy. And the child goes, no. And what does the child say back to him? You're not being
Nice.
Do you understand? And so that's why I always thought about when that translates as it gets older, it's like the nice person is always the pushover. You understand? And that's why I was like, I kind of like this statement because it allows us to talk about it as far as like, now let's flip around a little bit. Because I said, what's the most popular and best word to describe that, when you have boundaries is no. Now flip it. Let's say instead of saying, nice girls are just females that don't have boundaries. Dana, let's start with you on that one.
No. Don't you want the nice girl? You want like the nice girl out on the streets, right? And then the cat in the sheets. However the thing goes.
Wait, what's that?
I don't know.
What was that
What
one?
is the saying?
Freak in the sheet.
Yeah, there's something about like
I heard that in a song once.
Usher.
Usher, that's it.
Usher. What song?
Well,
is
Oh yeah, that is that. Well, no, what is it?
Well,
It's Proverbs
Lady in the
31 on the
street and
streets,
freak in
Proverbs
the
7 in the sheets. If you want
I
to.
always heard Marilyn Monroe in the bedroom, Mother Teresa in public.
Yeah, something
Kind
like
of thing.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
But Mother Teresa was ugly and horrible. I don't want to. Sorry.
We'll find a new
Mother
one.
Teresa was a scam on a lot of stuff. She was. So we can get on a whole subject there. So it's like I don't find her, not attractive at all. But I don't find her appealing and stuff like that. So, but no. Think this way. We're okay. We want a nice girl.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? You don't remember this saying? It's like that's the girl bring home the who.
Mom.
You don't bring the badass girl. That's
take
back
home
home the mom.
dad.
Do you
Right.
understand? It's like yeah.
Dad's like,
So think of it this way. It's like, all right, let's get Antonio in trouble a little bit since you're in that way. Would you consider McKenzie a nice girl?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go. See, see McKenzie, I know you're
But
watching.
She has her boundaries.
Right. And then, but then it happens, but she can be kind and just talk about, saying no and things like that. So it's,
Okay. That is true though.
yeah. See, I think people confuse having boundaries with and being nice and kind. Remember, kind's a very different word and stuff that. I believe that everybody, both male and female, can be kind. Do you say? And it's like, and some of those kind things you can say is no and have a disagreement, and it's how you approach it that way. But I think boundaries are so important. Now, who do you think has? And Dan, I want to start with you. We're going to go all the way around this. Who do you think holds boundaries better, men or women? Now, first one, go around, and I'm going to have you describe why after this one, because this would be a good one for you guys to think about. Who holds boundaries better, men or women?
I think women.
Okay.
Women.
Men.
Oh man.
I know this is a good one. We're going to
I
find out why
know,
you guys
I
think.
know.
This is where you guys are going to differ a bunch on this one.
Oh, it just depends on the person. I'll
general.
go with women.
Dean?
I'm gonna go with men.
Antonio?
Men.
Okay. Dan, let's start with you.
Well, first, let's start. I'm married for 32 years.
Uh-huh.
And so I just see it every day with my wife. She really holds the boundaries good. I'm probably be a bigger pushover than her, especially with the kids and just different things that come up in life. I'm easier going, and she's very strong, and I like that about her. I like that she's strong and holds her boundaries. And so
Give me an idea of boundary that she holds as strong that you find appealing.
well, if the kids want something and she don't want to give it to them, she ain't going to give it to them.
Okay.
And if I don't want to give it to them, I still give it to them.
Fair enough.
Dave?
I say women. Been married 15 years. I worked in a career, again, back to my days in the corrections. I wasn't home a lot, so she set boundaries, and we made sure that we took time once a month, once a week, where we set away time, and it was just for us. And that was a boundary she had, and I chalk it up to that's probably the only reason I still have a family, because you just get lost in your job sometimes, and that's where I was at. So having that boundary is probably what's kept us together as long as we have. That's a mindset that she's been in from day one, and it's never changed.
Travis, you said men, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So the reason why I said men is the boundaries that I set in the family and the relationship with my wife, the ones I set tend to stick. And it's nothing to do with Sarah not being good. Sarah's one of the best boundary keepers I've known, and she's a female. But a woman's at a disadvantage. I have 4 wives. And if you understand the Wellness Way's principles, you understand that hormones change, and it makes them more vulnerable to think differently during specific times. Now, the meat and potatoes, the black and white, the ones that are very obvious boundaries don't change, but the ones in the middle, they can get
Get a little emotional, you're saying?
Yes, yes, you said it, not me. No. But no, and she would agree with me. I think she would agree with me overall, especially in the last couple of years, especially.
Okay. Dana, you said who?
I said women.
Okay.
I just struggle with
Oh,
it
so
though.
the
with
co-host disagreed a little
I
bit today.
know.
Here we go.
Girls. I mean, I struggle with it though because because you go back to your own life and what you're seeing in your own life, and that's where you draw like your experiences from and stuff. But I'm also trying to think broadly in culture in terms of what's going on, because I know a lot of men, yes, that have very strong boundaries, and I know women who have very strong boundaries too. But when I'm looking at us also culturally, I talk
today.
about this. I talk about this like on every single podcast. I'll probably talk about it 5 times today. But there's this idea of polarity between the sexes, and you need masculine men and you need feminine women. But what's happening is we are all becoming a lot more depolarized now. So the women are becoming a lot more masculine. They're getting closer to center, and the men are becoming a lot more feminine. They're getting closer to center. And having strong boundaries is an every person thing. But like when you think about that, you also largely think about like men putting their foot down and saying no. And more women are starting to do that, especially today. If we were having this conversation 100 years ago, I probably would think, something else. But we're having this today.
So I said culture.
We're having this today.
Culture.
So I think a lot more women are getting stronger with boundaries and what they want and things like for better or worse, even depending on, what that boundary is. But I feel like we're seeing a lot of that, and that some of that has to do with, I think, the more masculine woman coming into
So
play.
you're saying women today in culture have more stronger boundaries than men today?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Dean, what you got?
I disagree.
I love it. Let's go.
But I'll go back to my personal perspective on this in my life. So I've had the chance to have 2 marriages, and in both situations, both very good people. The current wife, heads and tails over the last one, in terms of connection. But I would say that a lot of it has to do, when we talk about raising the kids, when it came to boundaries, when it came to having those, setting those, and holding those standards, that always rolled back to me. The boundaries between that we held for each other, the yeses and nos that way, we were pretty open to that because we wanted to make this work, right? You talk those things out, you make those things work. But when it came to kids, it was always came down to me at the end. They were involved. Obviously, they had their opinions, but when your wife comes to you years later and said, "You know how you set that boundary for Derek?" Yeah, I should have been more on board with that because you were right. It's not about being right or wrong, but thank you. But it has to do with the fact that we wanted to teach something. We want him to learn something. And today, where he used to have money, burning through the holes in his pockets, today he's actually very financially well off as early as he is in his career because of the decisions he's now making based on the stuff that we held standards 2 years ago that my wife struggled with. Because she could see he was struggling, he was uncomfortable, he didn't feel like he was being treated right. But those lessons, sometimes they take a long time to get there. And I think, just for me personally, is being able to play that long game. And I think men can sometimes play that long game better. And I will say in the business world, I believe that the boundaries, the male has a little bit of a stronger role on it. Maybe just so because of how things have been over the years. Mm-hmm. But I know that women in the business place are stepping up and making changes and being better at it. I just don't know that they've had enough positive influences in their lives, to help them get there. So I still think men do it better. Nothing more than just my personal perspective on how my life has gone. So,
Antonio,
I said men because, like we've talked about, like the smaller examples, but blow it up to like countrywide, like big, whole population size. Like women, they are easily influenced, so that's a lesser boundary, like by nature. Like they have to care. To care for somebody, you have to sacrifice more of yourself, and to do that you have to have less boundaries, personal boundaries. So, and then when everything goes haywire, kind of what Travis was saying, things are going to change every month. There's decisions that need to be made, but blow it up countrywide when like there's a male president, because a boy becomes a man, and then he's just a man the whole time. Testosterone up, flat the whole time. Like there's no change. And if he chooses to grow, which he should, and put boundaries in place, which he should, then yes, I think men hold more boundaries more than women. They can, if a new shoe comes out, how many of us are going to be like, let's all get it? Like, wouldn't it be cute if we all wore it? Like, no. We're going to say no. Like, we can deny things, and to do that, you need boundaries.
The last pair of shoe I bought was 2016. It was a pair of Pumas, and I bought just recently a pair for the first time for $23, British Knights from the 90s.
Nice.
I've got
They
shoes
look
older
good
than
on
you.
Yeah.
I believe you.
So I got a question. I got 2 questions as I was listening to you guys talk this way. And so let me see the question, and then Dan, we'll start with you on this, and then I'm going to go Dan, Dana, then I'm going to go Dave, Dean, and Travis and Antonio. So let's do this. So who should have stronger boundaries? And then my second follow-up question is this. Who has stronger boundaries in dating today? Okay, so Dan, let's start with you. So who should have stronger boundaries?
I don't know. I have no idea. In every relationship, if you're talking a relationship, if you're talking business, there's so many areas that you can relate that to. Mm-hmm. And so I would pick men because I'm a man.
Yeah.
And so, but I think going back, I think that men, when you talk about boundaries, I think men today are weak. I think men were raised by single families, mostly mothers, for a long time, for the last 30 years probably, and I think men today are weak. And so I think that's the reason why we're having this discussion on boundaries, is because there's so many weak men in the world.
Yeah.
Ding ding.
So, back in 1960, I think the stats were like 76% of the households were mother and father and children. And if you go to 80, that's like 60%. And today it's like 40%. And so when you look at that and you just look at how weak the men have become, and that's why another reason why I picked women is that women have stepped up in a lot of areas in their lives, in business, in the family, and the men haven't. And the men have given that power away. I think the word metrosexual became popular in like 2002. I think it was the word of the year in 2003. And just think how that's changed the culture. I mean, men do all kinds of crazy stuff now with getting their nails done and their hair done and their pedicures. And I think that's made men weaker.
Dave,
Can you repeat the question again?
so I got two parts. He answered both of them. Who should have stronger boundaries, and who has stronger boundaries? Who should have stronger boundaries in dating today, or who does? And remember, relate to culture, because remember, if you think about it this way, I've been getting a ton of emails and comments on this. Do you know why? Do you guys honestly, and Dana and I and Travis to talk about this? Do you know the purpose of the podcast? Do you know the purpose of our healthcare? It's to make society better. Do you say? So we talked about. I don't know if you guys know this, but when we talked about transgender, they took off our show. And you know that there was a TikTok that someone did with my stuff, and they banned them and gave them guidelines that way. So if you think of it this way, is there's people out there and they're trying to make society bad, trying to make it weaker. And that's why I know it's really funny. And Danny has to tell a story because I'm hoping she's watching, because we can squeal on her. We won't use her name though, but I'm gonna squeal on her. So you want to say her name, but it's like I want to reference her. But over spiritualized Christian woman is like they question people's faith if you say fuck or shit, and they're more worried about that. Yet they let evil prevail, and they're just concerned. That's a bullshit Christian thing. I'm over concerned. Now on the flip side, people say then they question your faith. I'm like going, really? Judge me by a fruit. Do you understand? I produce more fruit than your fucking husband probably going to a 9-to-5 job watching the Packers. Do you understand? And so everything we're doing here is to make culture and society have a discussion with people that we can, like I said, look, you can have disagreements in there, but sit down and ration things out to make our culture and society better. And sorry, someone proved me. I'm okay with it. Proved me that transgender brings better to society.
Doesn't.
You say
Never.
That's my point. And this thing, it's like
It's the crazy parents allowing
Yeah.
this too.
Right.
well, and so people say, well, Doc, then how do you justify having individuals' rights? Dave, I know you quite well. I know your wife quite well that way. But if you want to dress up like a woman and you want to dress up a man in the bedroom and shit like that, I'm cool with that shit. Yeah. You saying what happens behind closed doors, you don't bring to society.
Predominantly
not.
undressed behind closed
Yeah,
doors.
that's right. Come on.
But that one time you left the door open, you look good in that dress.
That's
let me tell
right.
you.
We invited you, but you said no.
That's right. Boundary, he said. He's
peeked.
boundary. It's his
I
boundary.
peeked.
Yeah, that's right. It's his boundary. So let's go back to so that's why when you have these discussions, I have no problem see people want to talk about well you're taking people's choice away. Not taking people's away. It's just that it's the other thing this way. You're always supposed to protect innocence. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's why all of a sudden they first allow and say let us be ourselves. Cool, we have no problem with that. But see, it's never like this. I said this a long time ago, and I don't care if this gets hates. People want to defend themselves, it's like going, listen. When I said, listen, the big gay movement, I said, guys, do you really think it's gonna fucking stop at people wanting to be gay?
No.
It's gonna be like first just let's do our thing. Cool, you do your thing.
Well, it's fine if they want to do their thing, but don't push it. Don't push it.
that's-
Don't have the
Right,
kid
right in front of
stuff.
the face.
I just saw something on TikTok the other day where, and I'm not racial in any way, but a black woman had a boy and had a baby gay shirt on, and she's like, my baby's gay.
Yeah.
The kid was like 3 months old.
Yeah.
How?
That's a thing.
How?
Because you're
That
just a
kid's gonna be
moron.
So fucked up. The
You're
rest
just
of its
a
life,
fucking moron.
Just from
Yeah.
the one video.
And so
The
yes,
one TikTok.
and
that
yes,
kid
the,
screwed up.
the Christian
Done.
person, the overexpressed Christian that met with Dana, you would sit and do fucking nothing. Do you understand? And you're more worried that I said the word fuck than you are about doing something that's right. I have no problem going, you're a moron. Do you understand? Because what's really funny? Do you know what's really funny? People say, well, it shames us when we stay in the closet. Good. That's where it belongs. I have no problem. Stay in the closet. Do whatever you want. Do you understand? Because you know what happens? Because at first it's like, let me be myself. Cool, be yourself. But now, because you don't accept it, now I'm going to force you to accept it. And then because you don't accept it, now I'm going to go to somebody else and make you accept it. Mm-hmm. It's like it's
Well,
the thing.
they want government to do it for them.
Anything that's evil, you have to force people to do it.
So we've had this argument, as I mentioned in the last podcast. I'm on the city council in the city
Yeah.
of Pier. We had this argument in our city council where we were putting a transgender ordinance in place, which I completely disagreed with. I voted against it because one of the things I'm sick of is where we pick and choose who wins and who loses, who gets preference, who doesn't get preference. I said, if you're worried about discrimination, then don't discriminate against anybody. Stop. You don't get special treatment because you think you're transgender. You don't get special treatment for that. There's nothing special about it. You're a person. I'm going to treat you fair and equitably if you treat me fair and equitably. Don't treat me differently because I don't think the same way you do. Stop doing that kind of stuff. And they took offense. And actually, one of them reached out and tried to get one of the fellow council members fired from his job at St. Norbert College because she took offense to the fact that we refused to paint crosswalks in the city with transgender and LGBT symbols. And I thought, how the hell does that help you?
Because those people don't know how to walk properly?
No,
Or
it
what?
has to, because they want to be
Exactly.
recognized for being something different. And it's you can do what you want. Like you said, if you want to dress up in your house and do all that kind of stuff, cool, go do your thing. If you want to walk down the street like that because you feel comfortable doing it, I don't care. But don't tell me I have to call you a different pronoun, and don't tell me that I have to treat you differently based on how you want to dress. That's your choice. I don't care.
Just call
What do
everyone
you think
fucker.
that-
It's gender neutral.
I've done that.
What do you think the over/under is? This is going to get blocked.
I'll give it.
Yeah, I don't know.
We just brought up
only went like a
transgender,
couple
so-
minute stints, so
Yes.
we might be okay.
We're off
but it-
to a good start.
It goes right back to the topic, though. Strong wins, weak
Right.
loses.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
If you can't be strong enough to prove your point without having somebody else prove it, you're going to lose every time.
Yes.
And I was on a radio show just last Thursday, and we talked about the same topic. And it
Do you know-
came out that the state said we're going to put the law in place to say you can't, have minors have gender-affirming treatment, which I don't even know what the hell that means.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They shouldn't be allowed to do that, and the parents should be involved in that decision. You can't just let them do what they want. They're freaking 13 years old. They don't know what they want yet. Correct. They can't figure out what color shoes to wear. And I know Antonio mentioned the shoe thing, I think it was, but they don't know if those shoes are cute or not. Who
Yep.
cares? They. Yeah.
So here's
Got
the
me all
point.
fired up
But
now.
but no, I love the fire. I love fire. Keep going. But I want you to think of this. So here's what happens. And Dean, since you're on fire, let's do this a little bit.
Yeah,
And
got me going.
and Dave, I'm gonna ask you this way too, because I'm going to give some points on a couple things. Of this. So then, who do you think should have stronger boundaries, men or women?
Men.
And do you know why I believe men should have stronger boundaries? Because they're feared, women are not. See, if a good man stands up compared to a good woman, like I've used this 100 times, and people, I created some cool analogies recently, and I always said, if there's 30 Danas outside protesting what we're doing here, I'm walking out and say, slapper's a bitch, get out of the way. Do you understand? See, we all laugh about it because it's funny. All the guys are like, hey, bitch, get out of the way. You understand? But if there's, maybe a sandwich, we're at it, okay? But if there's 30 deans walking outside, guess what happens? Standing outside protesting. You're walking a little bit, understand? Do you understand?
Doc's taking me, sending me out to the front.
That's not. Well, I'm walking out with my pistol. You know what I'm saying? Because by nature, that's why I said I believe men should have a little stronger boundaries because number one, they can put an element of fear in people that women cannot. Do you understand? No matter what they do. Second of all, this is totally a little different. I want you guys, and Antonio, we'll start with you. I think men have to have stronger boundaries on themselves because at least you talked about with Sarah or talked about any female or Dane or anybody that way. Just think this way. When they have a little bit less boundaries on their emotions, what's the worst happen? They cry, they bitch a little bit. Honestly, what's the worst happens that a woman isn't stoked with her emotions, that has less boundaries on it? Dave, you see this. You worked in there for a long time. If a man doesn't have boundaries on his emotions, come on, talk to me on this one.
That's a double-edged sword. The way the prison system started when I was started in 2008, every man had boundaries, and you didn't cross them because you get your ass beat.
Yeah.
Now
That's kind of-
they've softened the prison. I watched our name change segregation unit, which was solitary confinement. Guys could get 365 days for starting a fight. Now they're 3 and out, which they go up, they get 3 days, and they're back out. Until their third strike, they don't get the time to serve it. But they're making the system weak.
Yep.
And we are filled with Milwaukee kids, 20, 22, 23. They come up, they don't even know who they are, and they're trying to make a name. And they have no boundaries, so they just run amok, and it's a circus.
Yep.
Well, and the problem is now we have the younger generation of people who don't want to work. that come in have no boundaries, so your prison staff are weak. Well, now you get the drugs into the system, you get the cell phones into the system,
Yep.
you get all the shit you're not supposed to have in prison. It's
Yep.
there.
Yep.
And the people bringing it in aren't family for the inmates.
Yep.
It's the staff. Just, I mean, like I said, back to telling us what it is. When we started, they were convicts, inmates. Now it's persons in our care.
Ew.
Oh,
Oh my
They're
God.
not.
Kidding.
They're not being.
Dave, oh.
They're not being. You can't even write inmate on a state document. You can't write inmate. It's a person in our care.
Wow.
And a segregation unit is the restricted status housing unit. So let's just throw some bullshit at the wall and see if it sticks.
Right.
Even though it's still seg.
Yep.
And we don't even ship guys out when they assault staff anymore.
Yep.
The state very rarely prosecutes when there's a staff assault.
Yep.
Um,
No,
They
I got
can
a
get-
question. Just quick, and I want you to continue, but I'm running this point. I want to do this. Do you know what happens? There's two things that had to happen. Either women had to have their voice in society, or men are just being a bunch of pussies.
It's both.
That's the point.
We're seeing a lot of women in Department of Corrections moving up fast. And I don't judge, but
I do. That's
No,
right.
no, it's
No,
okay.
you gotta
Let's-
fucking judge.
But it's lesbian, minority, females moving up the ranks because the prison system needs to meet a quota. And then nothing gets done. And then the guys that are there or have been there and have 20 years in get told they can't say that or they can't do that.
But who
When
says
I-
so? See, that's the thing. Who says so?
making
See, that's what I'm saying.
rules.
When it went out, yeah, but here's what happens, and I've said this constantly that way. It's like all these your over spiritualized friend you met with. Hi again. No, but here's what happens. This. They will approach a good person doing something, but they'll never approach a bad person doing shit. Churches, like I said, are fucking ridiculous that way. They said they're the good people doing stuff. What are you fucking doing? Sitting around and have a Sunday church asking for a donation that way, not doing anything for the community to make it better? Honestly. Or throwing a little bit of food at somebody. I thought they were supposed to be the morality and the things that way. I mean, so, Christianity's supposed to be that way and stuff, but that's the point. It's like going, see, that's the thing. We are supposed to be judgmental. You're a moron. You're an idiot. You know what's really funny? We got to bring bullying back. We got to bring shaming back because you know what something is this? When you shame somebody, they stayed in the closet. Do you understand? Because you know why? Because now it's like you got to accept everything that's bad behavior, and the minute you say that's bad behavior, you understand? It's like
in my industry when I was there, we used to do that. That's how it was run. You got into a tiff with a coworker, you fought it out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Or you ran into him at a bar. You got in a fist fight.
Exactly.
Now, if a word
Assault.
of that comes back,
Yeah.
both of you are on unpaid leave pending an investigation that they're going to drag out for 6 months. So you got to quit because you can't live without income. So that's the way the state gets around it. And in the prison system, we used to have a supervisor. He'd come down and he'd be like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? Why isn't the mail done? Why aren't meals passed? Why aren't these cells being searched?" Now they come down and go, "Oh, you guys are doing a good job," and everybody's sitting at the desk eating,
Right.
or reading a book, or playing on the computer. You can't run a maximum security prison like that,
right.
and that's where it's gone. And the 10 years I worked at Max, we saw, I think, 4 or 5 different wardens. Well, that's an every other year flip.
Right.
There's no consistency. So again, that just leads back to no boundaries.
Yep.
The weak lose,
Well,
and the staff are losing.
Yep. And the people that are supposed to be protected because the strong are not doing anything, which it's hard to even call them strong. But like I said, it's strong men have to step up. And I believe strong men have to have the most boundaries because, once again, I believe the two most common emotions that guys go through in a day, actually, they're not as rage and anger. If you're going to dominate something, you're going to be taking hard things on, which is going to lead. But so I have to be controlled because if you don't control it, you end up in the prison system. Do you understand? It's like, well, it's like this. Everybody's, I see it today. And why, instead of teaching young boys, boundaries and being stoic, they say you got all these females out there telling them to express their feelings, be vulnerable. You don't want me to express your feelings because if I expressed it, if you look at it this way, the guy wwho's shooting up schools expressed his feelings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You understand?
It's true.
The guy who actually is in prison expressed his feelings.
I have to express my feelings. I have to pee so bad.
Well, go.
Right
You're
behind
good. You're good.
You're not
Yes.
in school. You don't have to raise your hand.
Yes. Yeah, that's cool. Yes, he's still
We
in
must
school.
we must have not
he's
done
still
the
in
last minute
school.
pee break reminder for
So,
everybody.
Yeah, so Dana, female perspective on
What
that.
what were the two things
here we
you
go.
said before? It was
Who should have stronger boundaries, and who, like I said, we're gonna get this because we gotta get to the dating world a little bit more. Who has stronger boundaries in the dating world today?
Oh, okay. Well, men, I think, should have the stronger boundaries just because they're the leaders. And everybody should have strong boundaries, but they're the leaders of everything in society, and they're the ones who make everything run. So they need to have the strong boundaries and be able to say no, ultimately. Yep. And then, I already forgot what was the other one?
No, who has stronger boundaries in dating today?
In dating today, man, when you're really looking at that pool, probably, that's even a hard one too. Okay. Let me see if I talk myself in a circle. I'll go with women.
Okay, go ahead. Now hold that thought for a second. You're the first one to come back to that. Men or women?
Women.
Women.
Men.
I think it's women, but Dana, we're gonna come back to you. But I want to answer this.
I think it's women just because of like the standards that they're trying to set for men that they can't get. They're 4s and trying to get 10s, and that just doesn't actually happen in life. A 10 is not going to be with a 4 unless he's bored on a Saturday night, right? And so women have these like boundaries and standards. I guess maybe can be a little bit different, but women have these delusional ideas of what they deserve in the dating world. It's actually insane. But also I also didn't kind of want to answer women just because of like the slut factor and how body counts can be like kind of high and stuff. And so there's like that boundary kind of falls a little bit. That's my like exception for what I'm saying.
Dan, what you got? We're gonna come back
Women
to that.
have what every man wants.
Hold that slut body count.
That's all.
What's that?
Women have what every man wants. One thing.
But so who should have stronger boundaries today?
So I think women just have what men want, and so men just follow them. Men just say whatever they want to say, so they can get what they want to get. And so that's where I'm at.
But which one do you think has stronger boundaries though today in the dating world, men or women?
Well, I would say men.
But why?
Because, like Dana said,
hard, right?
it's hard because they both do. But
I think it's dramatically tip scale women, but I'll explain why.
Yeah, I lean women, and it's because just women are the leaders today. Men are weak.
Dave, what you got?
Women, their standards are what they are, and there's no sway. You could be a nice guy and finish last every time. You could be a badass, and some women just don't want it. So you could go out in one night and try and pick up 5 women, and every single one of them is going to turn you down for who you are. There's no knowing what their boundaries are because most times they're not going to tell you. And if they do tell you, evidently you fit their standard or their boundary. You fit what that mold is. There is no cookie cutter to it, but the standards are set by the women of what they want. And at the same time, men need to have boundaries too, because they shouldn't cave in and be like, all right, the hot chick over there, I can't pick her up. No way. Well, you don't know what her standard is or what her boundary is. You never know. Side note, I go out with my guys. I'm married. I very rarely wear my ring. I add it on my cross. I don't, just my industries and jobs I do, it's not safe. And the women will come over and talk to me because I'm me. I'm not trying to pick anybody up. So I don't give a shit if they like me or not. And it drives my buddies nuts. They're always like, we hate going out with you. You're the worst wingman ever. And I'm like, I'm not a wingman because I'm not out to get anybody. And I can go out with my wife and other couples, and it's the same thing, even if I'm with my wife. It's like, that's not me. Leave me alone. Or I'll talk to you, but I have no interest in going any further than talking to you tonight at the bar. And I don't go out because I get sick of having other people on me all the time. And then somebody sees me out that knows me, and they're texting my wife or calling my wife, and they're like, hey, did you know Dave's out with so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah, my wife knows 99% of the shit I do. I'm not going to hide it. Yeah, I was talking to a woman at the bar. Cool. And that's it. That's all there is to it. The boundaries are there.
Travis, who has stronger boundaries in dating today?
So I picked men because I think the majority of us actually follow the rules when it comes to certain things. I went down that rabbit hole. Now, whether or not I'm right, wrong, or indifferent, I chose men because I've never heard of a man yell rape. But you get a man going after the wrong woman in the wrong circumstances, and they're going to yell rape and you're going to jail, you know, or you're going to be a felon. There go your guns, there goes your life, your future. So we have to have stronger boundaries. Now,
Have to, but who does?
so this is where I'm probably mixed up a little bit, but I chose men for that reason. Like, we have to, and I think the majority of us have that figured out. It's the ones who think with the wrong brain that they get themselves in trouble.
For sure.
Yeah. So I want you guys to chew on this a little bit and tell me what you think. I believe that women have a dramatically much stronger boundary in dating than men ever do today. But let me explain why. Because, so I will give you this example. I grew up in a small town of Crivets, okay? Before technology and media and social media and things like this, most women dated within a radius of their hometown. And because that's why all of a sudden, you know, you see that happen a lot more because their dating pool and selection was quite low. And that's why if you look at I can tell you this. Let's say you come from a small town, you know, say you got a couple hot girls that were there, and then they have a lot less dating selection pool. So they marry the guy from their hometown, stuff like this. And all of a sudden, you know, they move to a city and all of a sudden she's like, well, I have these kind of more G's messing with me. And then it leaves husband. It's like, I can't believe it is. We've been together since we're teenagers. Like, yeah, but you're a dork. We moved to something that had a little bit more and you had a little more selection. Women of today, all you have to do, and that's why you talked about a 4 now thinks she's a 7 as a woman because
that's a whole other piece of delusion.
Because but the reason why it's become
well, it is.
It's delusional because by nature, here's what happens: is women's selection for dating pool is much bigger than we were young. You know, when you're in high school and things like this, you're like going, okay, am I going to find somebody that way? Then you go to college, your pool of selection's bigger. Do you understand? And that's why you see a lot of times with you know girls or guys they go crazy in college when you come from a small town because you've had such a small dating pool, and either you're a dork and nobody liked you, and so or this girl is like, and all of a sudden she goes to a larger college and like, oh my goodness, I got all these guys hitting on me. Well, yeah, because you know why? Once again, your dating pool. So now, what did social media do to women? It gave them unlimited choices from what they had before. They really did. And guys today are so, and Dan, I agree with you. I think we all agree on this, that we're seeing less masculinity, culture trying to make us less masculine and things like that. So therefore, that pool of masculine men go down. And so what happens is, so women are like going, well, you know, I just have a bigger pool to select from. I can do these things. I can put my pick on Instagram. I put my pick on TikTok and things like that. And all of a sudden, all these guys are going to do this. So that's why you ever notice, I just recently had a conversation with a friend that did grow up in Crivets. They have a high school girl who's pretty and she's on TikTok and Instagram, and she gets messages from people all over the country. You're saying, are you 18? This, I'm like going, you know, and that's what I said. You got to protect your kids from that stuff too. But it's like, but here's what happens. Can you imagine if we were 18 years old? Can you imagine? Okay, you know, what year did you graduate high school?
07.
07. Wait, so you were actually, social media existed when you were in high school?
Barely.
Okay.
I just got
Barely.
Facebook at
That's
the
true.
time, yeah.
That's true. Can you imagine? Well, imagine. So think about the teenage girls today.
What?
Think about the 20 or think about
MySpace.
Think about the. Oh yeah, MySpace.
I had a MySpace
I did-
also.
MySpace.
Yeah.
I never even had email until I graduated graduate school.
Same thing. We didn't have MySpace. We
Nothing.
Didn't have cell phones. We didn't have.
I didn't
We had
have cell
we
phones
had
until I was a
we had
senior.
Atari. We had
Yeah.
Pong.
Yes. Oh my
That's what we
goodness.
had.
The,
You have,
the Nokia brick. It was
Ooh,
indestructible.
No, keep-
MSN Messenger with your friends and all the
We had,
emojis.
we had,
Oh my
we had to
goodness.
get
They're
digits
so
on
good.
paper.
Hit the button 6 times to get
Yep.
to the first letter and then realize you missed it.
Yeah.
And your
I
text
never-
message doesn't
I didn't
make
want to
sense.
talk
Yep.
about that. That hurts my heart.
I remember in graduate school going to the computer lab because nobody had a computer.
No.
Do you understand? I was like going, so you wanted to check an email, which that's why I never had email till I graduated. My sister created my email for me, and she's like, I'm like, what? Because I'm
What
like
use
going,
this for?
yeah, I'm like going, holy crap, and it's like, and then showed me there was the internet and stuff like that, and I'm a grad, I'm already done with college and stuff like that. It was kind of
Probably
crazy.
had the actual 3.5 floppies.
Well,
Yes,
meanwhile, you got the dial up.
My first year in college, computer programming student, and the year before that, they just stopped using punch cards for programming.
Yes.
I was hoping email was a fad.
Yeah.
I still am.
So I think women actually have stronger boundaries on who they're going to date because their selection of men has now become more global. Do you know what I'm saying? For sure. And now I believe I believe that hurts. I can't call them men. I believe that hurts guys that are males. You know what I'm saying? Because then I think that what happens is that what they do is like, because now the average nice guy is being overlooked by all the girls, even in their college, even their high school and things like that. Because once again, if you have, you're going to get some guy hitting on you. So then the girls are like, well, I get messages. I don't have to. Now these girls in Crivets don't have to worry about Crivets. Now they have a global network of what they can do.
Right.
And then if you're hot, guess what happens? You know what I'm saying?
Blows up.
It blows up like crazy. So they're like, and so then guys just give up. I'm
But
like,
in that situation, though, are they at Crivets 10 and a Milwaukee 7?
Yeah,
Because that pool gets bigger. So how do you connect?
that's the
How
point.
do you-
I'd take a Crivets 5 over a
You know what's
Milwaukee
funny?
50.
It's funny. I actually would take a Crivets 7 over a Milwaukee 10. I don't even know what that looks like anymore. I mean,
I don't know. A 10's a 10 no matter where the fuck she lives. You guys are crazy. Give me a fucking 10 that's a 10. You look at a girl, it's a 10. You look at a girl, it's a 7. Look at a girl, it's a 2. It doesn't matter where the fuck they live.
I have a coworker
Jeepers.
that says this all the time. She's like, I
Which
know
is-
I'm a Seymour 10, but I'm only a Green Bay 6,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Well,
But that's a boundary.
now watch.
It is.
But it's funny.
Because
Who has-
she should be a 10 wherever she wants to be a 10.
And you think this way, a girl that's a
Upward.
10 will always have more boundaries than a girl that's a 3 or 4 or 5 because once again, like a dork guy, if you're I tell guys, if you're a top-notch guy that way, you're going to be more of an ass because or girls bad behavior, just knock it off. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't do this, you can't do this shit in that way. It's like, but no, that's the point. So it's like, but what's that?
I said the 10s are looking at their DMs just for fun.
It
Shits and
is.
giggles.
And that's what I said. There's so much. If you look at a girl, let's say, I know it's kind of funny. Sorry, ladies, we rate you. We do. It's like you're a 3, you're a 4, you're a 7, you're an 8 that way. The higher you go on the chart, the more I would say. Yeah, it's funny because I've seen it happen so much as they go up in their stuff, unless they truly understand that they want to get a great guy. They once again they really become. I don't want to use that word, but they kind of become bitchy a little bit that way.
I keep thinking of Talladega Nights when he's praying. He goes, I just want to thank you, baby Jesus, for my wife, my smoking hot wife. On a scale of 1 to 100, she's easily 94. Thank you. She's all happy about it.
Yes,
But I think some of this is
That's a good
confidence
score.
too. When you're that 10, it has less to do, I think, than personality looks. It's the confidence side of it.
for men or women though, because
I
I'm
say
sorry.
I say for both.
Neither. I think if you here's what happens. If a girl keeps her mouth shut, you're gonna judge all the girls based on your. And yes, there's an old saying. Remember, let's talk about this. There's an old saying. You show me some hot girl, there's some guy sick of fucking her.
Yeah.
There is, because once again it's over, it's repetitive that way. But here's the point: is this? But if you have a girl, none of you guys ever watched Miss America pageant. You didn't care about her confidence. You didn't care about this. You're like going, how's she looking in a swimsuit? How's she look at this? That's. See, let's talk about the realist way. That's why
we watch beach volleyball.
That's it. Those freaking outfits. You know what I'm saying? It's like
They get smaller every year.
yeah.
I wear
but see,
that
that's the
outfit for like
point.
the.
Because you think, it's an attribute that guys don't care if a woman's confident. Do you understand?
I think a woman
sexy-
cares for a man's confidence.
Yes,
Yes,
that's different.
yeah,
yes.
that's totally
I would say
different.
that's number one for
Well,
a
that's the
woman.
mind.
It's a big thing.
That's
Yeah,
the
it's
mind.
it's the mindset.
That's wrong on so many
Yes.
levels.
Yes, because no, Durang, I would say, for example, if you look at the qualities, and we have to go back to this, and just so that you guys know, you know what I'm saying? Dana, tell them about the workbook that you're working on.
Oh, I'm working on a workbook for men and women for behaviors and how they, how we talk about the 3 M's for men, mind, muscle, and money,
Yep.
and then you have the world as your oyster, and then we talk about women and the 3 S's and sexy, serene, and support. And we're putting those into a workbook and into a manual and putting different things under each category, split into 3 separate parts.
Yep.
Coming soon.
Yep. Yeah, and that's like saying, and that comes down to, it's like, you look at the 3 things that are important. We were just talking about this. Some of the staff and I were talking about this. That word serene. Do you know what I'm saying? Because what happens is if you have a you're a businessman and you're saying, and so you were saying, well, we all are, is think of this way, is when you have society and you're in business, it's war out there. It is, and that's why that serene peace that a woman can bring. I'm sorry, men aren't bringing you peace. Do you understand? And that's why we call it 3 S's: sexy, serene, and supportive. That way, that serenity will actually bring a guy back to focus and things like that better, faster than anything. You know what I'm saying? And so those are the qualities that come out that way. So I think that's why it's like, you're right. I agree. So Dana, let's go back to Dan's point that way. Confidence. How important it is to a woman that a man has confidence.
Very Very important. Hang on, I want to caveat though and say that, like, okay, yeah, it's nice that, you know, women have confidence, because you were talking about that piece, but like, let's be careful that we don't cross a line here, because some of that confidence has turned into delusional, right? It's the 7 thinking that she's actually a 10, and we got to like get a little more realistic of what we actually look like and who we actually are and how good we actually are for the market and society in general.
No,
But
I agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, that confidence piece is really important in a man, because we talk about the 3 M's, and mindset is one of the M's, and that's probably the biggest one. We talk about money being very important too, but the thing is you're not really going to get money or wealth or anything like that in life unless you do have the right mindset. That piece kind of really does need to be there first. And so having that confidence as you walk into a room, fitness obviously helps with that, right? The fit guy walks into the room, everybody automatically respects that guy, and that commands respect from all the men in the room.
Does automatically.
Automatically. It's that automatic leg up.
Keep your shirt on, Travis.
Damn it.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
The chest.
Here you go.
I wore a white T-shirt and everything. Let's throw some
Hey,
water
so
on.
did I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't get the memo. But yeah, that's my stint on that. Very, very extremely important, because women look up to that and they feel safe with that, and women want to feel safe and secure, and that confidence in that man really helps that.
It does. Boy, this went into a much different direction.
Yeah.
That was great.
As it tends to do.
It's,
I love
yeah, I said it's like kind of cool. Okay, so any more comments on the aspect of nice guys and boundaries and males and everything like that? Anything you want to say?
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
So let's
the
go
only thing I
Travis-
wanted to
Dean
add
Travis.
was you know, we talked about the societal thing with the man getting weaker. I mean, our media does it. You watch the husband on the commercial, and he's the
mom.
He's the doofus, right? He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He doesn't know how to use toilet paper. But then we go back 60 plus years, and you look at how the family dynamic has changed, and the lack of fathers in the house, the lack of discipline for children. You know, when I'm handing out candy tonight for the little bit that I did, and I got a kid reach in the bowl, grab it instead of me handing it to him after, you know, they got to say the thing and all that kind of stuff. Grab their hand, take the candy out, says, I do this, you ask the question.
Yep.
You know, that discipline is not there. It's the lack of father there, and the fathers that are there are not necessarily as strong as they need to be. That is our biggest demise of our culture, is the fact that we don't have strong men leading in the house, we don't have strong men leading in the communities, and we don't have strong men leading our country.
Right.
It's frustrating beyond belief to sit and watch it fall apart like that.
Right. Travis has got.
I was just going to
And then
summarize.
Dana will go to you after.
Real quick, you know, nice men should not be trusted. A good man should be. And there is a
Kind, yep.
difference. You know, a good man, you know, a good man's going to take care of his wife and family and has the ability to do it and back it up.
Yep.
You know, a nice guy, I think those are the ones you see in prison. You know, like you mentioned, I'm going to steal one of your lines if that's okay.
Yep,
You
go for
know,
it.
you know, you hear the moms go, "Oh, he's a really nice guy." I bet he is, but he's in prison. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, he earned his badge. He's here for a reason. The good men are out there working hard. You know, kicking ass, taking names. You know, that's what I want to be. So there is a difference between nice guys and good guys.
Yep.
So
Dana.
the one thing I would say, because you brought up TV, and sometimes we like to touch on how TV is just programming. It's just programming people, because you talked about like the sitcoms, and then what you see on TV is ultimately what we end up all mirroring in our lives. So, and it, you know, it's known as the Cosby effect, and you know, all that kind of stuff. But it's interesting because as TV has changed and those male and female roles in TV sitcoms and reality TV and all that has morphed, we all just mirror that. And that's one, very interesting. But also, you know what I think is also super interesting is that we've talked here about how like the strong ones and the best ones are the ones that need to make it and the ones that need to win, and how everything is getting too feminized and not everybody should win. And we've talked about how the perfect example of that is, you know, the NFL or pro sports in general, because who makes it onto the field? The best of the best of the best, the cream of the crop, and not even all of them get to play. And there's only one winner, and there's only one Super Bowl winner every year, and there's only one MVP every year, right? And what's very funny about that, though, is I was thinking about this, you know, sitcom thing and this TV thing and how we mirror what's on TV. Just, like, riddle me this. I have no idea why we don't mirror what the NFL does. We all like watch this perfect display of what should be going on in society, and then we go to our jobs on Monday morning, and that's not how we act.
Because in the NFL, we're softening the game.
Well, there is that.
We
They
did
have the
talk about
we
that.
have the taunting penalty.
We got the taunting
Coliseum.
penalty. We got some of the personal fouls for roughing the pass or roughing the this. We have the teams that were not coming out of the locker room for the national anthem.
When someone gets hurt, they shut the game down. When is that
we
happening?
have wimpified the NFL.
Yep,
Yeah,
there's
and
that
they're
too.
and they're still getting paid
Mm-hmm.
like millions of dollars. The pay is because you might not get next week.
Yeah.
You might get knocked the F out, and
Right.
and there's your career.
Yeah.
You just ask Aaron Rodgers. Well, he made his millions, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. But he earned that badge. He got it. Guess what? You got hurt. There's your hazard pay.
Yeah.
Just like a boxer. We don't both get paid 50 million and then go like this. No, we whoop the crap out of each other, and the winner takes all. You know,
And
it's
you're
just
getting the commentary from the guys that played the game that are saying, "What have we done to the NFL?"
Right.
Do you know that I think that's why also too, it's kind of funny. Go back even 20, 30 years ago, okay? Watch this and watch culture happen. Do you ever watch who used to watch games 20, 30 years ago? Men.
Men.
Now what happens is, this is my personal opinion, I have nothing to back this up, but I believe women are starting to become more into sports because they're actually starting to see what men more are supposed to look like. Do you understand? Because they're like going,
That's fair.
it's Mary's
That's
total
fair.
opinion. There's nothing back.
Yeah.
But like going because they
because-
don't see it at home, so at least they can go watch some guy in the field act like a man a little bit that way and go, I wish I had a man. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that.
The
And-
image. It's
well,
the image.
fit,
It's the-
Yeah.
money, got confidence
persona.
compared to they're sitting next to a guy that has a beer belly and fucking broke and actually, yeah, there you go, Sarah. See what his hand is, his hand. Nobody seems. I thought about this going, why are women so into sports today? Because am I going? Because like I said, it's like going. Well, it's because they don't have any men
Not
in their
because of
life.
just Taylor
because
Swift.
they want it
Oh, no,
and
that's
don't
why I'm
have
back
it.
away from
Right, that's my point.
They want it,
They
don't have it.
see
And
it.
and that goes back to the point where nice guys finish last.
Yes.
The strong ones win.
Yes.
Yeah.
The nice guy finish last.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't
And
get.
that goes back
Well,
to
and that's
boundaries.
yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's like people, and I come along just like I can't stand people that root for an underdog. You're fucking stupid. But the idea is this: is like it's like people are like, oh, nice guy feels yes, he should. He should finish fucking last because maybe he's gonna set some boundaries, get his mind, muscle, money together, and guess what happens? They're not gonna look at him as nice anymore. You ever watch a guy that finally gets fed up with something in his life that way? Guess what happens? He goes from a nice guy to more quote a hard ass, but then he starts doing things in life. You know what I'm saying? That's why I truly believe that we are supposed to make men's lives hard and teach women that life is hard. Do you say
Yep.
And it's hard. Know that that's hard for a man, and a real man's going to protect you, but life is still hard.
As
Do
a
you
father,
say?
our job is to build warriors.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And so it's like, and I actually, Gary Vee posted something. I love Gary Vee. Is competition good or bad? And they're starting to teach young kids that competition is bad.
Oh my god.
I'm like going, no. Do you understand? Competition makes me a better business person, a better doctor in everything I do. Because I'm going to outperform you. So therefore, in order to outperform you, I'm going to put a better product out there. I'm going to do it.
100%.
Yep. So
You know,
Yes.
it's funny. Just to go back real quick to what you said about women being more involved with watching the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, you were flying back from Atlanta a few weeks ago, and I just happened to notice because I've watched NFL in 4 years now. I'm sober for four years.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to NFL AA. Anyways,
Hi, Travis.
hi, Travis. that was good, Dana.
but I was looking and I saw a lady with a full-on Saints outfit on. I saw 3 different women with Atlanta Falcons jerseys and things on, and it's like, and the one that captured me was, it was a full-blown like comment whatever on the shirt about being loyal. And I'm going, oh my gosh, even the women are falling for this now, and
Yeah.
this is horrible. I didn't see a single man. I mean, granted, I wasn't looking, I wasn't doing a survey or nothing like that, but
You
I
were
happened to
checking the
notice-
guys out this time?
Oh, I was checking their butts up. Just it's kind of nice, but
Making sure you're the strongest one on the plane.
oh yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
But no, okay, but I mean, honestly, I don't know if you saw that, Christy, or not, but I noticed a lot of females had NFL sports
Paraphernalia.
that shit. Yes, and I didn't see any men. I saw a soccer team. But
Well-
even they weren't even like flaunting it. They were just there with their jumpsuits on, and they
Well, you know, it's really funny,
Interesting.
and I think that's why it's like, I've always said this. It's like, I think people get into sports because their life sucks. It really does, and so they have to live through something. It's like this. It's like, I also said this, I would be appalled as a dad if I had a son and that son looked up to some other dad.
Oh, yeah.
Do you understand? Because here's what happens this. That's why it's like, and you think of it this way, that's why I believe sports are such a distraction, because your life sucks and you're not building your life and you got to get away. You need some time to relax. I always tell people, I'm sorry, I never look for a time to relax. I built such an amazing life that I just want to keep on building it. You know what I'm saying? So what do we get tired for is actually, it's like, I sometimes wish I didn't have to go to sleep. You understand? And it's like, and people are like, oh, this. Yeah, it's so tough on Friday night taking the private jet back and not going through all the airlines and stuff of that, jumping on a plane. Dr. Flynn, yes, dude, here's my bag. This, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's so rough to deal with. I just got to escape that, guys.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I got to talk about it. I need counseling. I need therapy.
I can go for you next time.
Yeah, exactly. Would someone do it for me instead
Let's
of finding a
talk. Take your
private
jacket
jet
off. We'll put some
and
water
stuff?
on
It's
your
like
shirt.
going, I love this. I need some time. What?
But when you love what you do,
Yeah.
it's not work. It's not a job.
Right.
It's what
Just
you
life.
love.
But remember-
and that's what you follow, and that's what you do.
But I think that's a little misleading, not in your statement. I think it's a little misleading. That's why I think the dumbest thing when women say to other women, I think it's okay, but when they say to other man, follow your passion, never follow your passion, because that's all emotional. And guess what happens? You know as well as I. If working out, when we work out and I'm hitting my max bench and stuff like that, it's not a passion.
You're in pain.
I'm in pain. A man has to put himself through pain to anything that massive success, and it's not. And I can honestly tell you, it's really the outcome, because I believe that and I want. Let's do this opinion. You can give this one too. This way, is I believe that men are, and remember this: joy and happy are two different things. Remember the defined terms. I think a man majority of the day should not be happy at all. They have great joy, but not be happy, because anything that a man wants to accomplish in life, it's not fun. If you want to copy a great body, guess what happened? Not fun. If you want to dominate competition, not fun. This. The joy you get from being top G and top dog and things like that, trust me, that's great. Now on the flip side, I think women have to have happiness. I think they have to be happy mainly through the day. Do you understand? Opinions on it. Let's start, Dan, and then we got to go to our next question. What do you think?
The difference is joy is something you have in your heart all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So happiness is what's happening around you. And absolutely, men, if you're working out, you better be working out harder. Otherwise, go sit on the couch.
But the joy comes when you take your shirt off
Absolutely.
and go, damn, man. It's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's like a chest. And it's
Absolutely.
like,
So, yeah.
yeah.
Good for you, man.
Dave, what you
We all
got there?
Different spots.
Yeah, joy over happy. I'll take busting my ass to be joyful at the end of the day.
Yep.
There's days it sucks. I
It
mean,
does.
I worked yesterday and it was
It
still at
sucks.
15 degrees outside. That's my job. I enjoy doing it.
Thank you. And you
No
also,
matter what the
but
conditions
you also enjoy having more control of your time and your money.
And I do. And
See, it's the thing.
I have a family life now
Yes.
instead of a work life and a family.
So you're building your life, but sometimes it's not happy.
no.
Do you saying that's why? And I think we have to stop telling fucking men to be happy and say, no, it's totally opposite. I want you to be happy. I want you to get up and grind and stuff like that. Travis, what you got?
I agree. I get joy when I see my family and the people that I care about around me
Yeah.
that are happy. But me, I want to keep grinding. I'm never, what's the word? Never satisfied, always content.
Yep.
Not in that way.
It's actually
never
always content, never
always
satisfied. Yeah,
satisfied.
you got it.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
saying it wrong. but
Content, because I said you just love life.
It's
but
example. I'm content with the workout I did today. I just kicked my own ass. All right, I'm content in that, but I'm not satisfied.
That's right.
I'm not. If I keep going, but what I do get joy is when I look at my wife looking at me when my shirt's
Exactly.
off or something. It's like, all right, so I have joy. Or when it comes to the work, when I'm working my ass off, you know what? I'm grinding and I love it. I'm doing a good thing, but I'm loving it because I'm grinding and not because I'm making cookies.
That's
I'm
right.
not, no, that's not. It's the outcome that I get with my family and friends and people I get to take care of or treat, and that's what brings me joy. And it just comes in little tidbits.
we're going to go, Antonio, because you're going to be the last one to comments on that thing, and then we're going to go to the next question. Antonio, I want you to have the last comment on this one.
Yeah, I mean, totally agree with all that. You know, like, I don't know, men should just not be satisfied with where they're at, because that's how you go, I need a break, let me do this, let me separate myself, and that's what makes,
Well,
you say it all the time,
let's listen to you.
choose your
Exactly.
heart.
Let's listen to you. You're going to be starting practice soon. There's be times, I told you, I see the difference in a lot of people do this in business. Come to us to be great. I'm just the opposite of all my business partners. Like, this is gonna fucking suck sometimes, and you're gonna keep on grinding. You're gonna push, and you're gonna hate. I think I do such a bad job at selling myself because I'm like, you're going to fucking hate me, but I'll bring joy in your life like you would never
just
believe.
keep coming, too.
They do. They keep on coming.
What
More
is
people
it?
keep coming, and I even tell. I go to schools, and I'm like, you all suck. You this. You're not prepared for life. This. If I was trying, I tell people I am a horrible salesperson, but you know something about preparing for life better than anybody. You know what I'm saying? So
I
it's
think
like,
people appreciate your honesty too.
yeah, well,
And the
it's like,
confidence.
yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like, and then I tell people, it's like, go back to your friend that's watching right now. Judge me by my fruit. You know what I'm saying? All right, Dean, what you got?
Well, I'll go back to the workout. So I started working out 6 years ago after my son started working out because I thought, I'll be damned if I'm going to let that little guy get better than me, be stronger than me. And so the things that we do, but we look at the grind and there is times that you go into the gym and you haven't hurt in a while, so you've got to push it so the next day you hurt. I'm a 2-day hurt, so I'm at the first day after, not too bad. Second day is when I go, oh.
Yep.
Last year, trying to make the extra push, doing the 100-pound dumbbell press, took off the tip of my finger when I hit another bench trying to throw off. I went for one more rep. That wasn't being spotted because I've been doing them for a long time. Yep. Lost control of it, tried to throw the weight off, and I hit a bench next to me, and it took the tip of my finger off.
Ouch.
Back in the gym a week and a half later.
There you go.
Figuring out ways to press, doing something that I couldn't grip my hand at,
I think you love working out with me. I won't tell my wife this, she's listening, but yeah, that 315 pounds or plus rolls off my chest more often than I care to admit.
Yep.
Yeah. I got to the 315 one time, and that was on my 53rd birthday.
Yep.
Come on over. We'll
hey, we got
grind.
it.
Well, yeah.
All right, Dana,
can do
wrap
that.
all this masculine energy up here and stuff like that,
nice little ball.
and throw it in
Put
there.
a nice
Yes.
feminine bow on top
Put
of
it.
it.
Yes, go for it.
Okay. I try to carry some of the feminine here, but the reality is half the time I'm really just more of a hard ass, and I don't have all that much compassion and nurturing in me sometimes for what's going on in society. And so I can get on board with like your theme of men not being happy, but like, women need to be happy. But we also because it's my job to also call out women, right? But we need to kind of also be a little bit careful of that. Like, women can have happiness, absolutely, but let's not make life too easy either, because women are really, really good at making up problems. And that's what happens if you give them way too much happiness. And that probably comes back to some boundaries and things too. But if she's too happy all day long, I think she's going to start to make up problems because now she's bored. So I think everybody needs challenges that they need to be going through. Women, you got to get to the gym too. You got to look good in and out of your clothes for your man. So put yourself through those challenges too. Do whatever it is that you need to do so that you're not getting bored and making up problems.
So to keep your wife from being too happy, you got to leave your shirt on more often.
Yeah.
I'll take those notes down.
Sarah's like, I disagree.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to disagree with your first part of your statement.
Okay, go ahead. What was the
Because
first
just talking about the criticizing the aspects of society, you're actually into the opposite. What you're saying is you are a woman speaking to society to say, listen, guys, be men out there, because us as feminine women. Yeah. So you're not being derogatory towards that. You're actually saying, as a society, men, if you want a girl that has 3 S's, you know what I'm saying? So I want you to take that negativity back that you're putting out there on there, because you were actually being good for society by you saying that.
Right.
And
I just mean I'm not normally nurturing compassion on this show.
Here's what I want church women to do, okay? Because like I said, now I'll just say this for your friend, is like, I wish churches, I want men to chase their faith, grow in it. We were talking about, even me and Jeremy Maxwell, my boy, Samson family, my boy, all my guys, Devin, everyone, my son-in-law, we're working on our faith every day. See, that's what they don't see. And that's why I say you're always chasing Jesus. That's just my faith and stuff like that. But I believe that churches are not. Usually funny, watch this. Who had stronger boundaries before this crazy pope? Catholic churches or non-denominational churches? Who was more known for standing for something? Think about this. Catholic, because you're like, they drew a line in sand. Don't do this. Don't do these things. This is sinful. Non-denominational churches of today are just woke. They allow anything. They do. It's like, they do. I've seen it. And then a pastor's like, well, no, it's because of grace, all the bullshit. It's like you're gracing everything to go, you're a freaking moron.
It's all numbers driven.
Do you understand? It's like, that's why it became a show. And then guess what happened? And for women that want hope for their life, they go, oh, it's a great service. I feel so good about that. And guys are like, yeah, guys don't need hope. No. Do you understand? Guys need hard. Oh, that's a good one. Guys don't need hope. They need hard. Do you understand?
Good.
And it's like, and that will give a woman hope. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so I wish there was, what was I talking about? That was kind of cool. I met a wonderful pastor at my thing in Grand Rapids, and it was kind of funny. And I said, because of the whole COVID thing, I'm like, if you're a pastor, and you close down COVID, you shouldn't be a pastor. And guess what happened? He kept his church open through the process. And his wife was a PA, and she's amazing. And they absolutely loved what I had to speak. So I was talking about healthcare, because I said, I disagree. I said, you close it that way. And he's like, yeah. He goes, I was convicted, and he believed in his faith. He goes, nope, we're staying open. And he was in Michigan.
Yeah.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
That sounds like the worst state.
Now watch this. That's a pastor that I could get behind. That's a pastor that I'd go to his church. Do you understand? Because I'm like going, yeah, he doesn't have to do everything right. He's really good. I mean, I just talked to him a little bit that way, got to know him. But it's like, and therefore you're going, well, he's a strong leader. You know, so I'm gonna get behind him and learn faith and different things from him that way. So, yeah, so that's why it's like, so you calling them out, it's just like me calling churches out. It doesn't mean you're actually trying to make society better by your comments.
Yes.
I'm trying to make churches better. Give me a pastor that's strong. I'll be there every Sunday. But give me a because you know why? They'll build a community. You know, it's like you talk about it.
The church doesn't have that like they used to.
That's my point.
There
but
is
see,
no
that's
community.
but-
It's just a bunch of people getting together.
But you know, I'm just concerned you're on Dr. Patrick because he doesn't go to church. And this man, my men are stronger than the men that you probably even married to, Dana's friend. Anyways, there you go.
All right. That's enough.
Yes, I'm not saying her name. You didn't even tell me her name, but that's what it is. But she's watching and she's gonna probably pray for me. You know what I'm saying?
All right. The next question is.
Yes. Oh, this is so fun for me. It's not even saying names. It's like guarantee. It's like, because you know, it's really funny. This happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? But usually funny. With the exception of one really good guy that I like in town that way. The pastor's too scared to come on here. Did you close down during COVID? Yes. And you're a pussy. You don't believe in your faith. Get the fuck out of here. Do you saying that's it? Boom. Done. Do you saying it's that simple? Don't tell me about how strong you are. What happens? It's like you talk about society. You talk about problems. When society becomes too easy, you're right. Women will make up problems. Yep. When society becomes too easy, men won't be strong. You're saying that's why we have to make their life hard. We have to go, women, like I said, you're right. Boundaries, a good man's going to say, knock it off. No. You speak to your wife that way? Yes, knock it off. No. Do you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, life's too easy.
But that's the difference between respectfully saying no and being an asshole about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure my wife calls me an asshole a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, she does.
But
She does. She works for me. Just kidding.
Just like mine.
But I'll stand my ground
No,
when
she
I
never said
need
it.
to.
Yeah.
Are there times where I'm just like, it's not even worth picking the fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's everywhere. But
Yeah.
stand your ground when you have to.
Right, exactly. No, and funny part is this, and I want a guy to be known as an asshole sometimes. Because you know why? I don't want nice guys working for me. I want some assholes working for me. Heck, what have you learned in real estate in the last first month? They call themselves Christian and everything. They wear a cross, but what do they do constantly? What did you notice?
Liars.
They fucking lie. I told these guys, that's what I said. I don't care if your mom's in real estate. I don't care that they're fucking liars. People think car salesmen worth. People in real estate, and I own a ton of real estate. And they said, but we don't lie. We're straight up, aren't we? We do stuff with it. It's like, and I said, Travis, all these people. I'm like, watch, they are fucking liars. And it's like, and what did you learn the most? You were surprised.
That he actually was an accurate meteorologist over here when it comes to real estate. He goes, here's what's gonna happen. He goes, you're gonna put in an offer, and they're gonna come, or no, you're gonna talk to them, set something up, and they're gonna come back to you and say, on this location that has been, idle for
3 years,
250 days, we'll say, oh, we got someone in the someone in the hopper here. We might want to get I mean, it's not just one.
It's everybody.
It was I was like, oh my gosh, like this. Are you a prophet?
No, I just know dumb people. You say it's like because people use the same sales trick because they felt. Watch this. Here, I have millions of people on Instagram. Get this. It's like every day I get messages. It's the same catchphrase from all the social media marketers. Your material's so good. There should be so much more people on there that way. I'm like, nope, don't care. And see, I totally throw them off. And it's like someone says the sales. I'm like, or we're gonna open an office, rent space. What's people looking at? Well, fucking give it to them. They step back like going, I'm like, and I tell her, I said, don't give me the bullshit. Don't this. You mess with me. I'm done with you. I'll deal with somebody else. So you just got to call people on their bullshit that way.
And we just added a quote to yours. I'm not a prophet. I just know a lot of dumb people.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm not a prophet. I'm not a prophet.
That's a meme right there. That's a good one.
That's right. So that's right. There we go. All right. So let's, great discussion, guys. We go on. Now, what we're going to do is that prophet.
Built it the fast way, okay?
I'm not a prophet.
You're thinking about money. It's okay.
I'm not a prophet, but my mindset makes me a lot of profit.
Yep.
So there we go. All right, so let's go on this one because it's kind of a little bit on the same realm. We're gonna this, and we're gonna start with Antonio on this one because of course he's got McKenzie that way and stuff like that. So here we go.
Hey, McKenzie.
So because you're gonna see, like I said, hey McKenzie. All right, here we go. So I want you to think about this for a second, and once again, just agree and I disagree, and we're gonna go around. And we're gonna end up with you giving first explanation. The women of today lack the understanding what it means to be feminine.
Oh yeah, agree.
That was a quick one. Holy mackerel.
You didn't think about that one very much.
Dana?
I agree.
Dittos.
I agree.
I agree.
Isn't it funny that you talk so much about polarization, that it's so close into the middle now that because the opposite sex, that's what they call it, the opposite sex. That's like
Complementary opposites.
yes.
I'll
And
go into
so
it
so
again.
let's go with this. And so let's start with Dana. I'm gonna start with you. Then I'm gonna go Antonio because like I said this is the feminine thing, and I know this is something you speak about. I want you to hit that hard.
Okay. So yeah, women don't really understand this, and I actually think that men might understand femininity more than women probably do, because the thing is that femininity is really, it's the color in the masculine's black and white world, right? We are men and women are not the same. They're not equal. They're not meant to be equal, right? And I talked about it already today. I'm going to do it again. This whole idea of polarity in the sexes, right? You have your complementary opposites. You have your masculine man, who is his competitive and aggressive and all those really manly traits, and you have your feminine woman. And the more masculine you are, the more feminine that you need. That's the whole point of opposites, and that's why we need that.
And they say opposites
attract.
Attract.
Because that polarity, that what makes you like magnets, so that you do attract each other. And you don't need that kind of polarity in order to have love in your relationship, but you do need it in order to have passion. And your relationship will never survive unless you actually have passion in it. And we are, again, becoming so depolarized for a number of reasons. We can touch on the food thing and the TV programming thing and just the messaging and everything that's out there, but the women are becoming too close to center and they're becoming masculine, and the men are becoming too close to center and they're becoming feminine, and they can't attract each other when it's like that. Then it's just like two friends living together, and that's boring, and nobody wants to have sex with that, right? So I also like kind of was thinking about, okay, but why are we like this? Why don't women even understand this? And there's a whole lot of reasons that we could give for that, and I'm sure every one of you will give a different reason, because that's the whole point of this podcast. But one thing I read in a book that I think might be fun to point out is, okay, if we look back at World War II, what happened back then? All the men went to war, and then when women were still at home. Okay, but what happened was also that a lot of women had to pick up a lot of jobs that men had been working.
Right.
And those jobs were crucial for survival for not only the country, but also for, the men that were out at war. All right, so the men come home from war. And then what happens? They just want everything to go back to normal. They want the women to go home. They want to be able to go back to their jobs. They wanted that to be normal, and they needed that to be normal.
Right.
But what really kind of started to happen, a lot of women went home, I know. But what really started to happen was that battle of the sexes kind of started brewing back then, because women were doing something that was very, very important, right? Because when you are a provider for survival, there's a big sense of self-importance in that. And women were feeling that for probably the first time in human history, really. And if you have that sense of self-importance, if you're any normal human, you don't want to ever give that up. So a lot of women were reluctant to maybe want to go home, and then they got mad at the men because they just thought the men thought that they were dumb, but that wasn't really it. The men just wanted everything to go back to normal and how things should have been. So now there was this rift between it. But the funny thing is femininity is incredibly priceless to a man. And so why would women ever want to be merely important when they could be priceless, is really the question there. And then, so to solve this problem, though, too, we look at what the 3 S's are. It's sexy, support, and serene. Sexy, obviously, men are very visual, so you need to look attractive inside of your clothes and outside of your clothes. You need to be supportive. That means supporting what his mission is, understanding that when you win, he wins, and then not only accepting him for who he is, but loving who he is really the key. And then serene, it's the idea of peace. The man goes out to war all day long. He doesn't want to come home and have to fight at home. He doesn't want anybody who's combative. He needs to get rid of anybody who is combative. And so that's my nice little bow of everything I think that's going on.
Yeah,
in
but let's
society
run this
right now.
because you're creating the workbook and
Yep.
stuff like that on this, and I think that women really have to understand this of today is the fact that's like because I've watched a lot of stuff, and because I travel and I'll download podcasts, I'll listen to because I spend a lot of time on planes and stuff. And it's really funny because I watch people talk about masculine and feminine, and then even the hosts will say, "Yeah, you gotta be feminine." People say, the person goes, "Well, it's feminine," and they don't really define it well like we do. Mm-hmm. So when we came up with the 3 S's, being sexy, serene, and supportive that way.
And you can take pretty much like any behavior and you can put it under one of those
because
3 categories.
because what happens is I don't want Travis to be sexy, serene, and supportive. I want to be fucking mind, muscle, and money, because we're gonna go to war together. Because when we're dealing with real estate and we're buying properties all over the world and we're doing stuff like this and making millions, I don't want you to. I want us to go to fucking war because we're dealing with a bunch of liars.
Yes.
You say it's not a joke. It's like going. It's like you look at. I'm sorry, but society is supposed to be war out there, because the war can lead to competition, and war can lead to once again, competition is great because it just makes everything better. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's why you talk about there's one MVP for football. That's it. I never watch sports because I think they're a waste of time, because you're just wasting time in somebody else's life. But it's really funny. It's like this. this is. I want you to think about this as guys, and I want you to think of this as a woman. Okay, this is the way a guy should think. You know, it's really funny. How many here have heard of the family, the Rockefellers? Okay, how many have heard of? I know it's really funny, but let's go back to Jimmy Carter. You say the Carters, or let's go back to the Kennedys. Do you know what's really funny? That you learn more about other people's family history than you know about your own. You're saying, if I say George Washington, this, and do you know how George Washington got famous? Do you understand how he became president? He didn't want to.
Supportive.
Yeah,
Sexy sports Marine. Yeah, he's sexy
those
supportive
wooden
Marine.
teeth, I'm telling you.
No, but
That'll
here's the
get any
point.
girl.
Here's the point. But he was the 3Ms. Do you understand? He was going
wanted
for
him
it,
to do it.
and they begged him. He didn't want to. He refused to. But he was a general and stuff like that, and he was just the upstanding character. And they said, and I don't think they want to walk around saying George Washington was nice. Do you understand? I don't want people to say I'm nice. I want the majority of men. It's really funny. I like to use some humor, so I like to use a funny analogy. But I tell people, when I got rid of all the boss bitches, women that try to act like men, and get this, it's kind of funny. Is I said, you want something? I'm gonna have Travis walk around the office every day for 2 hours with his shirt off. Now, that would offend most fucking HRs, except your wife works in my HR. She loves it. Okay, and Brooke and all. I have
She
the
calls
best.
me an asshole too.
I have the best HR department in the world, which is actually Dave's wife is one of the HR, and my wonderful VP manager, Brooke. She's amazing. But here's the point: is this. Here, and I want you. And now, what happens, for example, is this: the soy boys of today would run to HR, would run to your wife, say that's so offensive. You know what I'm saying? And the boss bitches would be like, that's disgusting. But you know what the fucking sexy, feminine, and serene and supportive women be like?
Hell yeah.
Be like, girl, they walk around going, shit, yeah.
They
And
want more than 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
You just do it all day.
But watch this though. But let's do this a little different though. That's the girls. But what does a guy that's working on his My Muscle and Money think? See, a guy that's working on My Muscle and Money, you go, hey Travis, if you're working on it and you're working towards that stuff, you're not intimidated by it. You're going to go to him, hey, can you help me with my bench?
Yep.
Can you help me this? See, guys of growth
That was my first
won't be,
thought.
that's the thing. Guys of growth won't be like, oh, it's fucking disgusting, 7 HR. You'd be like going, no, dude, walk
are you
around.
doing?
It's going to, because by nature, a good man will go, I need to be better. And I'm on my way, so I'm not intimidated. A good man's gonna go learn from them. If I see, I get to hang around people that are worth $400 or $500 million, and I'm not going. We're not having to like, oh, I'm more. No, I'm going. Okay, dude, what'd you do? What'd you do, man? Tell me. I'm here to learn. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that money. I got lost, but I don't have that money. And I'm like going. I'm at 100 thing. I want to get to 400. I'm gonna go like I'm not. And he'd say, well, he's flaunting his private jet. I'm like going, and the guy that thinks he can't accomplish is like, that's just disgusting. I go, yeah, it's like going, it's kind of funny. It's like, and that's what I said. It's kind of the same kind of thing. It's like on the flip side of the feminine, it's like going, now feminine women are demonized. Oh, she's a stay-home mom. Oh, did she give up on herself? Mm-hmm. I know, but you see that with women today. And I think I've came up with, and you guys, you can give me a little thing. Oh, we got to get to our next question too, though. But you think this way, it's really funny. Is like, and I think that women enter society better after having kids. Let me explain. Okay, I always like to use Aaron Walton because talk about a man that became masculine, does great stuff and things like that. And they told me some really cool financial thing the other day. It was really awesome. But here's the thing: so Aaron is she started out as my top journalist. Okay. International Sebastian book with me, everything that, all the great things, okay? But here's what happens this. She has 3 kids, but they're out of the house. You're saying, what do you think, where do you think she brought more value to that family as a young age? As a journalist or a mother?
Mother.
Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And now that the kids are out of the house, and now that the kids are in school, say they're more independent. Do you know what I'm saying? They're over that age where they really need mommy or really need daddy that way and stuff like that. I mean, you always need it, but the idea is this. But now what happens is now her kids are out in society doing well. Now she can go dominate in society in a career. Do you understand? So now she can be fulfilled that she has 3 awesome kids. Now go out and crushing it from business side. And that's why I think women can enter society at such a high level. And I'm not saying they can't do great things when you're young. I'm just saying that if Aaron, you know, because you're my age and stuff like that. Well, a couple years younger, but Christian's a little around my age. But think this way: let's say right now you're Noah's just an amazing journalist with no kids and money. Do you get my point? Most women be like, no.
Yeah.
They feel unaccomplished.
Yeah.
That having the family is an accomplishment for most, and that's makes them work harder later because they know they did what they had to do to make the family work, and then they
You know,
after
the
that
sacrifice.
are just like, this is nice. I know I did good. Now I'm gonna go do better at something else.
And you guys have a grandparent that lived to a long age. Okay, so have they passed away?
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, Nadine. Let me ask you this. So, how many kids did your grandma have?
She had 5.
Okay, so she had a pretty big family, and then she's gonna have a lot of domino effect. When you guys were at the funeral, what were some of the conversations, the positive conversations about grandma when she was laying in the casket or passed away?
My grandma both my grandmas were tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they worked. They raised one raised 12,
Yep.
and one raised 5.
Yep. Yeah, but
they were-
see what you said right there? See what you
It was
just
the
said?
It was the first thing.
First thing,
It was the
he
first
said
thing.
raised. She's not going to be known for her career. What's she be known for? That generation of family she created. It couldn't. That's the thing. Now let's say your grandma. Let's say the woman lived till she was 95 with no family. They're gonna be like,
There's nothing there.
That's my point. Yet grandpa dies. It's like, did grandpa provide for the family?
Yes.
See, just by nature we look at it that way. It's like going and so we're gonna what's the 2 investments that are doing well? Cat foods.
Cat food and wine. They're
For
doing very
the-
well for women in their
Boxed wine.
30s.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yes, isn't that
Probably.
crazy? It's gone up dramatically that way. And see, that's the thing you talk about that way.
They also
And
can't
once
get
again,
jobs.
yeah. All right, let's go to our next question because we go on that way. All right, here we go. Oh wait, no, we already said the question. What are we
Yeah, I
talking
know.
about?
I answered it.
What
We're
answer is
going
this?
around for everybody else.
All right,
What was
so
the
let's go
question
back.
again?
Let's go back
Yeah,
to
say it
let's go to
again.
Antonio. The women of today lack the understanding on what it means to be feminine. All right, so the
You know what's kind of crazy? I was going to explain what you just did, like how you could play out a man with mind, muscle, money, and then a woman with the 3 S's. They get married, boom, follow it all the way to the end. There's a huge family tree.
Yep.
This woman was great. She raised all these people, big community basically underneath one person. Like that
Yes.
came all from her. But at the same age, that next woman that's alone, maybe the problem with why that woman is alone is because the man that left her back here didn't want to be with a man.
Right.
He wanted to be with a woman, not a competitive. And what's crazy, we were bringing up McKenzie. When we first started dating, like really early, we hit this topic immediately. And I was like, okay, I know we're carpenter docs, but immediately firemen, I
Yep.
sprayed that shit down. I was like, here's how it's going to go.
Yep.
Because, I mean, I told her, like, I am not going to be with another guy. Like, no way.
No
I'll
guy,
leave
yeah.
right now. Like, if we want to compete, because she's going to be a chiropractor. And a chiropractor, like, you're very independent. Like, that's how you
Yep.
built this. You
Yep.
had to go against everything. So, yeah, she basically had, I'm going to be a chiro. I have to be a strong, independent woman. But that line, like once we come home from that and it works over, we got to have 3 S's. I got to have 3 M's. And we got to keep things balanced and polarized because that's how it works.
Now let me follow up with a question. Dan, I'm gonna ask you first, and then I'm gonna come in there. Antonio, you 2 can't answer. Okay.
Okay.
Dan, would you consider yourself an independent man?
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Dean.
Absolutely.
About to be.
I disagree with all 4 of you. No one's fucking independent. Do you understand? I'm sorry. Have independent sex. Have independent relationship. It's that's the biggest bullshit because you know why? You know who perpetuate this bullshit? Females. Because these feminists, not real feminine women. Feminists because you know what they did is because watch this. Watch this. Here. Forget McKenzie and all things that way, like her career that way. As you gain money, what's going to be one of your first thought process when it comes to a woman?
How hot is she?
Provide for her.
Yeah.
Thank you. Provide for. When feminist women get
for
money,
her.
they think I
What can
don't
I
need
get?
a man.
What can I get for myself?
That's the point. See,
100%.
and that's why it's the concept of independence is ridiculous. You know what some is this? I didn't independently make my money. That's why during COVID I was so pissed off, and I was so happy this happened for companies where it's like, when COVID happened, okay, what I did, and I'm very proud of this, and I'm hoping this is once again. Dan's friend judge me for my fruit. Okay, here's what happens. When COVID hit, you ask every person who was employed by me. Everybody was worried, like, oh my goodness, what happens to the job? This. I had a meeting. I said, listen, if they shut us down by gunpoint. And because I said, listen, I made my money, and actually I pay extremely well, but I made my money going, all right, we did this together. And when COVID, I said, listen, if they would shut us down, I will pay everybody till they open up. I'll pay your full salary. You know what I'm saying? And this was before all the junk that the government did and stuff like that, which we didn't apologize for, but you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm going, we would do that way because here's what happens this. I didn't independently make my money. I was dependent. I'm still massively dependent on everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And see, so I think this concept of independence is so wrong. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not an individual and I don't have different characteristics, and we all have different characteristics that way. But the concept of independence, so they're teaching women, be an independent woman. What the hell are you fucking talking about? I don't independently want to have sex. I just don't. I just, it's just, I use a stupid, what you say?
Even when women independently have sex, that thing is shaped like a man, was invented by a man.
There you go. Yes, there you go. No, but give a point though.
Yeah, I think that's why so many divorces happen after the family is done. The woman gets a job then.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's got her own money. Well, I don't need him anymore. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm independent now. So I think that's why divorce rate in the 50-year-old range is very high.
So I agree, and I think that's because today, men are just males. They're average.
Yeah.
So a woman goes, well, I'm not going to feel too guilty. Kids are out of house.
Yep.
I still have, let's say she kept herself sexy and serene and things like that, even if she's 40, 50 years old that way.
Yep.
It's like, it's that they go, and the guy watching the Packer game, sitting on his ass, beer belly, stuff like that, and the girl goes, just like this. She's like, I didn't sign up for the shit.
Right.
And because you know what's something? You can be a broke 40-year-old woman, and if you keep yourself with 3 S's, guess what happens? Guys like, don't give a shit. But if you're a broke, no mind, muscle, and money at 40 years old as a guy,
You're done.
you're done.
You're done.
You're done. That's why the old saying is men must build value, women must preserve it.
Yep.
Do you understand? And it's like, and that's why I'm like going, man, and so I'm massively critical on sports, not because once again, I have no problem, like I said, if all my team here want, and we're gonna have a Packer party, I'll probably dress up in green and gold because we are all doing it as a community. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm sorry, the majority of men sit there and watch it independently with nobody else around and things like this, or they yell at their kids, "Quiet, it's a game," and I'm going, man, sorry, man, I just don't get it. It's like where people say, "We have a good team. What position you play? How much money are you making off of?"
Yeah.
I play left out.
Yes, exactly. Or I'm a stock owner. You're one of those stupid fucking people think you own stock in the Packers.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You donated money to them that way. I own a ton of stock, and guess what? I make a ton of money off it that way. And it's not the Packers. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
People are, yeah. So, anyways, okay, let's go back to this. Dean, the women of today lack to understand what it means to be feminine. You said yes. What you got?
I mean, okay, I'm stuttering now because I'm confused. But anyway, listening to the conversation that's happened, a couple of things that came into my mind, and I don't always prefer to talk about ex-wife, but ex-wife was competitive with me.
Mm-hmm. And that's why she's next.
That's why she's an ex.
It's not a joke.
Other reasons, but that's
Yeah.
one of them, right? But realizing that there was a competition of who's doing this and who's doing that, and in my mind, my job is always, as the man in the house, as the male in the house, as the person that's there, my job is to provide.
Yes.
To make sure that I'm taking care of them. So my current wife, no competition.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of serene,
Yep.
which is really nice to have when I come
Yes.
home, or as I mentioned last time I was here,
Yep.
some counseling stuff, I go through some
Yep.
past trauma. That type of thing has made me feel safe at home.
Yep.
But when I'm outside of the house, then I'm on my own swinging with both fists,
Yep.
right?
You're a war.
But that balance that's there, and my wife now, it's like, hey, I'm going to take care of you. I'll say, we just booked a trip today to Punta Cana for February.
Nice.
And I said, she goes, well, you don't have to do that. I said, I know, I want to.
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to make it happen? I said, I'll make it happen.
Yep.
We're going to be there. Here's the plans. Here we're going. She's
Nice.
like, this is awesome. You don't have to do this. I know I don't have to do it, but this is me taking care of you. This is me telling you how much I care about, how much I love you, how much I want you in my life, and I want to be able to provide things to you that you might not expect, that are maybe above and beyond. I'll always figure it out.
Yep.
I'll find a way.
Right.
I'll hustle some way to get it done. It always works. She trusts me.
Yep.
But that's where we talk about the femininity, as we've talked about this and described it a little better. It kind of put it into focus for me today. That was the issue in the first, and that's the positive of the current.
Right.
There's that balance. Do we do everything right? Absolutely not. Has she told me to shut the fuck up? Yes. And I struggle with saying that sometimes, but I told her one day, I said, would you quit talking like you're stupid and just shut the fuck up? And her reaction, she laughed. Because, oh my God, you finally fought back. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that's what I'm supposed to do
But
every once in a while.
but it wasn't a fight, though. You were getting her to see that you do notice it, but you just choose not to say something because you don't want to fight.
This was one of those pushes, like you had said earlier. This is one of those pushes, like, okay, I'm done listening right now, so just shut the fuck up.
Did you at least capture that moment and say, make me a sandwich? With some bacon.
Hey, we're fasting right now. Don't be talking about food. So.
I repent.
You know what's funny about that though? Another thing that I should touch on with femininity is you said that you booked this trip, but she told you a couple times like you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. One thing women need to be better at is receiving,
Accepting
it and being happy about it and saying thank you for it. Not that women aren't grateful, but they don't want to receive the gifts of men. Gifts, whether they're compliments or the trip like that or whatever it is. Men have a lot to give and they want to give it to women.
By
We
nature.
need to be able
By
to
nature.
receive
We
it.
Do you understand?
That's
We
very,
wanna be
very.
cavemen.
It's in the manual.
We want to be cavemen.
Watch
we
this.
want to go get some food and bring it home.
Well, remember, think of it this way, and think about just in general this way. I've been criticized in the past by being a giver. Do you say I had some boss bitches in my life before they're all gone, and so that it's like if I want to do something great for the company, it was they were selfish for themselves, but didn't like in this. I'm taking 100 people to Hawaii, over 100 people. Do you say
Nice.
Oh, we're going to Hawaii soon, dude. That's right.
It better not
Nice.
snow because
It's not snowing. Trust me, dude.
Come home.
Yes.
I just picked out my toothpiece.
Hey, you know what we gotta do? Yeah, we'll have to do the Baywatch run with slow-mo on the video again, like you did with Dave. That's right. No, but happens this is like, and see, by nature, it's like, because you know what's funny, in this was true, is I hate receiving gifts. It's like I'm more that giver. Like I like to do that stuff. And it's like, and just for a guy who provides and things like that, because I believe that do I want to provide for my family, but then I look at my community as my family. Do you understand? Like, and I didn't realize this was gonna be popular. I tell people, I'm a communist when it comes to my family. I'm a Democrat when it comes to my friends. The fact is, let's all do it together. Let's do this together. We can put our stuff together, put our research together. Let's do it together. I'm a Republican when it comes to my, town, and I'm libertarian when it comes to the world. It's like, dude, I don't give a shit what happens in Africa. I don't give a crap. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and see the thing, we just don't. Do you, we do you. It's great. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to police the world, things like that. But and it's kind of funny. It's like, because you're right. Because that's why I feel like a guy by nature, if he's a provider, he wants to give. He does. He'll do it joyfully. It brings me great joy knowing that fact that we're going to have 100 of us sitting on the beach doing stuff and going, just kicking back and having the opportunity that way to do it and stuff. And including your daughter's coming.
Yeah.
You understand?
That's
For the
awesome.
second time.
That's awesome. She's
For the sec-
excited.
Yeah, for the second time. Do you understand?
All I gotta say is this: the only hole in your logic is that every year I give you a 10 millimeter, stack of bullets. So you better receive that with joy, because that's important to me. I know it's just one little thing. You do so much for everybody else, but I get to give you ammo. One thing that I know you'll never buy for yourself.
It's really funny because it's when you're in a good way, programmed to be a provider, it's hard to receive gifts sometimes.
Yeah,
You
agreed.
understand?
It is.
Because it is and stuff. So
The best way I learned is people save money their whole life, and they never spend it, and they save their money, and they get older, and they can't spend it. It's a curse. It becomes a curse for them. The easiest way to break that curse is to give it away. When you start giving it away, you realize, wow, I should spend some of this for myself.
yeah, well, it's like when Christian people on Skim, and let's classify, and I'm gonna put myself, like I said, let's just say this for the podcast, so I have it on a thing for Dan's friend. I consider myself a person that loves Jesus, so classify me as a Christian, okay, just for that. So when I tear on them, you can tear on the people I love,
Absolutely.
okay. But the idea is this, and when people say, because Christian people, we got to do a whole Christian thing when it comes to money and stuff like this, because Christian people always downplay money, and like I said, Christians say, money is bring happiness. I said, then you didn't make enough to give it away.
Right.
Because it brings you great joy, and it's like
Unbelievable.
that I can give and that we can give and stuff like that. It's like, what's that organization that we gave to recently, Heather and stuff like that, and Young Life. Okay, I will not give to a fucking church. Do you understand?
I won't
Because all the bullshit, but we give directly to places that work with teens and and truly people that are homeless and things like that, where you know that money's going. If you look at what happened with The Rock and Oprah, you don't give to these non-bullshit nonprofits.
Right.
And churches mainly are a bunch of nonprofit bullshit now. And it's like, oh, we got to run like a business. No, I just was at the Amish. I was at Amish town. Pastor actually Sunday, guess what happens? They rotate houses. There is no money given and stuff like that. It's like they just preach. Everybody uses a big house that way, this, and guess what happens? Next week it's a different house, different pastor, things like that, and they have they're known as a community. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's like give it to something that, and it gives a great joy. The fact that it's like when you watch these kids that have been through hell and stuff like that, really been through hell, and then you have really great individuals doing stuff that way and helping that way. And that, like I said, so people say money doesn't bring happiness. I'm like, well, then you don't know where to shop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. My Lululemon shorts are better than Walmart. You know what I'm saying?
mine.
Yes, that's true.
I'm not buying either. Just
Lululemon. Yeah, it's like Lululemon has great men's clothes. And people don't realize that.
I was just there with the wife, and I was like, damn, this stuff looks really nice. I'm like, it's going to look better on you than me. So you spend the money.
Lululemon
you wear it,
did a lot of
and
good
then
for
I take
men.
it off, and I'm happy. So
That's
it's all
right.
good.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
Lululemon's, I'm sorry.
She has a really
those,
nice new belt bag too.
yeah, those
Yeah.
those yoga pants, sorry. Those
they're
yoga
great.
Spending
pants.
already.
Oh, I
Hawaii
know.
spend,
I know.
see? No,
Lululemon
trust
for
me, the
Sarah.
Lululemon Hawaii,
Yeah.
the one's right next to our big hotels and that, trust me, that Lululemon store is amazing and stuff of that.
I think I actually got a shirt when we were in Florida in June.
Yes, I got
We
you
were- we
Lululemon.
were stuck
I bought
to-
you Lululemon shirt.
It was so emotional, and it looks good on me. I won't lie.
Was it a deep plunge?
Show off your cleavage.
My eyes are up here, Dana. Okay.
No. I don't promise that.
Oh. All right, wait, Dave,
Who
we
are
got to
we
get you on this one. And then with the feminine part.
Repeat the question again.
The women of today lack the understanding of what it means to be feminine. And what I want you to do, I want you to answer it, but then Dana, I want you to answer a question on who should be teaching women. So don't, yep, there we go. Come back. I want you to go from there as soon as it is that way.
So lacking femininity in today's day.
Yep.
So as Ashley and I were dating in high school and getting married, we both worked careers. She changed paths multiple times. She went to school for one thing, did something different. She kept progressing and doing what she thought she wanted to do. And then COVID hit. And I think she really finally actually let it set in that I finally get to be that mom because I don't feel like I have to be making 50% of everything.
Yep.
So she stayed home. And she's like, do you want me to go back to work? I'm like, no. If you find a job you want and you fit in, whether it's in your career or not, then you take it. I said, you don't have to go back to work. It's not going to change my plans. I'm still on the 15-year plan. I'm still leaving. I'm still starting my business. I said, if I got to work 3 part-time jobs while I'm building my business, you can stay home. And she felt that brought her to be more feminine. And that's something I'm happy to be able to give her, that opportunity, no matter what it cost me. At the time, I was in the prison system when it all happened.
Yep.
I just went and worked my ass off.
Yep.
I also, at the same time of working overtime, was building a customer base so that I could take and walk away from having to work my ass off and set my rates according to what I needed to live and be able to give her what she wanted
Yep.
without feeling like she has to work. And throughout everything, we rode out the COVID train.
Yep.
We took all that money, and to show people that we didn't need it, we literally put it in savings. We donated it. We took family vacations.
Yep.
We did everything that everybody wasn't doing because they were too afraid to do it. And to show her that we could do it without having her working and giving her that opportunity to be feminine, to be a mom, to stay at home if she wanted. And then she applied here for a job that she really didn't have any background in other than managing what she was doing when she started. And then she had an opportunity to become HR, which is what she has a background in. And she loved her other job, so it was a hard decision for her to change. But she took it and loves her job more.
Yep.
She goes to work because she enjoys what she
And,
does.
and let me ask a question. I've never asked in tell everybody in camera that we've never had any discussion like this. As her employer, as her leader that way, does she feel like that she can't thrive in her feminine role, can't thrive at home because, because I'm like I said, I tell people, it's like people think sometimes when I'm hard on women, I'm not hard on women. I said, listen, you go out in society, you have this, but when you get home, you better be all feminine. Do you understand? And so as a husband that employs your wife and stuff like that way, what have you noticed with her working here under me compared to somebody else?
She takes everything with a grain of salt. She knows that it has to be hard, but she also knows that she's benefiting from it.
There
She
you
has
go.
the flexibility to
Yes.
be a parent, to be a mom.
There you go.
To bring our boys to school if
Yes.
I can't, or switch a shift so she can go to a dentist appointment. That's something that she never had in a workplace anywhere.
Can I tell you something that's really funny? I expect the men to be here early. I expect the women to be here after they drop off the kids.
Nice.
And
No,
it-
Joe, I'm like going
yeah,
because a lot of women just feel really good when they can drop their kids off of school. I'm like going, dudes, I like to say, girls, what's happening? Get them a little riled up, leave the home. You know what I'm saying? They're like going, I'm going to go crush it now I'll see you guys tonight. We're going to crush it. No, but you're saying, and I own a huge company and I've done it. And that's why I said, I understand that feminine role going, I will legitimately won't want to put a meeting for a woman till after they drop their kids off. Because just that simple thing of dropping the kids off makes them feel such like a mom. Good, go be the mom. And then when you come here, then you got to be kind of dudish. You got to have those masculine qualities.
And you're helping her marriage so much by doing that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. And so it's like, and then the hardness you're talking about is, like I said, we can talk about society is really built in competition. And it's men, it's got to be hard. That's why men, and that's why I tell women, you don't want to enter society. And see, I always say if women weren't in the society, we wouldn't need HR departments. But my HR department, including your wife and stuff like that, it's like going, listen, it's a totally different thing. Do you understand? Because I'm like going, you think my HR department knows that I'm gonna be hard on all you guys, and you're hard to growth. So if you don't like the way I talk, guess what? Get out now. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you know what happens is I'm preparing you for the world for that way.
And the same key though, her being more feminine, it brings her to be more sexy,
By
and
far.
more serene,
Yes.
and it makes me a stronger, better man.
It does.
with better boundaries.
Yes.
So in the end, she didn't have to get a job. I
Yep.
told her if
You want to.
I said if it doesn't work or whatever, you just don't feel comfortable, don't take it.
Yep.
If you want to try it, try it. If you don't like it, you can leave. She got here, she loves it. Now I'm here just as much as she is sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing. So, and see, that's why I believe the ideas that we perpetuated, we're just not. Here's one thing I always love. Do you ever notice people that are quote influencers and they haven't done shit in their life? It's like all of a sudden they threw a bikini on and they got popular, got 1 million followers, and they talk about life or these 24-year-old life coaches. I'm like, I want to fucking punch him in the head. Do you understand? And it's like, no, but my point is this. I'm like going, I have a massive company behind all these ideas I implement. Guess what happened? And the reason why I had to get rid of a ton of people in my life from before, even if they've been here for a long time, is because they're resisting these ideas. They wanted to go the way culture normalized. But I don't want men to be the way culture says. I don't want women to be the way culture says it that way. And guess what? And just like Dan's friend, they're talking about going, they come, so I'm just concerned. Fuck your concern. You know what's up is this? Because you know what happens is this? You don't like a warrior that's preparing people all the time. But you know right now, you don't have evil at your door as much as you did before. Because, you know, me talking like this during a time when COVID was out there, a lot of people came. A lot of people, everybody loves coming to work even more because, you know why? They said, this feels normal. Do you know what I'm saying? Because evil is in the world, and at least a warrior will protect its community and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And the church community did not protect anybody. The pastor didn't say, listen, screw you government, you can't stop us, so we're going to get together, we're going to build together, and you know something? If you lose your job, we're going to be here to help you. During COVID, I gave away so much money, it was ridiculous. Happily, joyfully, because you know what something? Money brings happiness, and when you give it away, it brings a lot of happiness and stuff. And that's the point that I'm sitting there going. So I said, I'm putting in action. And I believe that, you know, this can be replicated over and over again by defining those roles. So, Travis, what do you think?
Trying to tie it into a bow, because a few angles I can go with this, but women are taught to be men these days.
I agree.
So you got that going for me. If you don't believe me, go look at how many lesbian marriages there are now compared to what there was, 2 decades ago even. And if you look at it, and there's a funny stat, the lesbian divorce rate, or wait, no.
Do you see that research came out? The lesbian divorce rate is higher than the two gay divorce rate, but the lesbian
75%.
divorce rate way is beyond heterosexual couples.
And guess,
You know what this shows you? Guys are better at marriage than women are.
bingo. and here's a funny thing. I'm doing this.
Even married a dude,
Yeah.
you're still better at it.
Yep. And here's the thing. I'm being that I am a lesbian. I love women. So the 75% is significantly higher than the male-female divorce. It's like
Yes.
62% or something like that. funny note, last time I checked, I think even the Christian community's divorce rate's higher than the normal.
Oh, yeah.
Which means we're raising a bunch of soy boys in the church. We got it. We'll
And
So
boss
lots of
bitches.
justified
And,
males.
and
Yep.
boss bitches, too.
So, but here was the thing. I don't remember all four, but adultery, money, and abuse were the three things in the lesbian community out of the four. I can't remember the fourth one, but they were all the exact same as man and woman marriages, right? And I think in that way, in that video that I watched and saw the stats and the proof.
That's right. I sent that to you, remember?
Yeah.
I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's
I
the
sent it
thing.
to you, too. That's right.
Yes. And here's the I put that on Facebook. I was so excited about it. It was because really women are outing themselves. You're
You can't be the guy. You can't be a woman. You're screwed.
So I'm going to go marry
There's
the
gonna
woman.
be
I'm gonna prove
bestiality now.
I don't need a man. Yeah, you do, because guess what? Your divorce rate's through the freaking roof.
Except for
And
even in the two women, one of them has to be masculine because polarity.
Yeah.
And one of them has
saying.
to have a man toy.
Yeah.
Well,
As you say.
They both. They both
I
need
love that when you came with that. So a woman has to make a thing to look like a man. What is it you were saying?
Well, what was the
Made by-
line?
About a vibrator.
yeah,
Say, it's like,
yeah.
The toy
You're
was-
you
the toy
the
that
sex
you
that
want-
you
you
think
don't
that you're
want the
having by
man.
yourself.
yes, is really
you
what
know,
there you
The
go.
toy that
Sex you have by yourself.
No, yeah, the toy that you're using to have sex by yourself was not only invented by a man, but it's shaped like a man. Or
That's right.
something like
There's-
that. The line is.
Okay, we need
Shape
that.
like man
We
is
need that on a
Yeah.
t-shirt. We need that on a
Yeah.
t-shirt too.
Yeah, we do need that on the shirt.
I'll take 2 dozen.
That's right. Exactly. Wouldn't that be funny? Oh.
But, I think that someone, a long time ago got some really, like you mentioned before, if they're home too long, or they're too happy, or they're too content, they'll start making them problems. And I swear that's probably what happened during your World War II comment. I mean, I have no proof of that. This is just me talking at this point. But at some point,
It's a lot of
someone
things,
had
but
some
that's a
bad
factor.
ideas, and they ran with it because look at the society we're in. I mean, come on. It wasn't that bad before. It wasn't. But here we are. Now we have problems up the ass, and I don't even know
They're
where to
made up.
start.
Yeah, I would agree with
They're
that.
not even real.
I think that's why you'll see that happen with pretty girls as they become up that women said we rank you. And so that a 4 has a lot of problems because she doesn't get the attention that a 9 or 8 gets. And then 9 or 8 has an easier life. Sorry, so these women are like, I have it tough. You don't have it tough. You got people that'll give you things just based on your looks.
Yep.
Good, and I'm like I said, and I have no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? I use what you got. You know what I'm saying? But the idea is this. But then what happens is when they finally have everything they want, they, you know what I'm saying? They like I said. That's why I said if they have it too easy, they realize that if they have a really good, this is the difference. I think this is what we have to do with men too, is I think men by nature want to be good protection providers if they're being a real man. Mm-hmm. But you're right. A woman has to also let them know, hey, listen, life is hard. I'll do the hard things, but life is hard. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if it think, oh, it comes easy for him. Nothing comes easy for him. Mm-hmm. Right. Nothing comes easy for any of us guys sitting here.
No.
Any man of success, any man of value, it's this. But we can make the life easy for them. But Ryan, this is hard. I need peace. You know what I'm saying? And so let me get your opinions as guys. And we're actually, Dean, we're going to talk to you about you in this. Let's just because you it's great having you. Thanks again for coming back that way. Dan, thanks for coming back, and Tony, Dave, great having you. But I want you to think of this way. Let's go back because you said your first wife was was very combative. You know what I'm saying? Some of that, and it's like, look at that process right there. So let's say this. Let's go in this way. If I were to ask your ex-wife some questions, and like I said, and I think we can all kind of come to this a little bit this way. There's no man, being totally serious now, there's no man that does everything right.
No.
Okay? Would it have been easier, if you had a best friend for a long time?
Yeah.
Okay. Would it have been easier for your ex-wife, but let's say she was a wife at the time, to go to your best friend and say, Dean's fucking up? And would it have been easier having that fight and that combativeness, that war, come from the best friend or the wife?
Probably the best friend.
You see, that's why I keep on telling women. I'm like, because and when I hear guys that never on the show before say, well, she should be able to come to me. I'm like, oh, not that we explain stuff too long. But anyways, here's my point: is that it's going. Do you understand, ladies? It's like the woman today is by nature being taught to be combative. Mm-hmm. What's over my shoulder? Everybody's looking.
Little bug.
It's a fly.
Oh, it's a
flying
fly.
around.
Oh, okay,
That's
fly
it.
around. It's like everybody's looking up. I'm like, is something? Well, no. I would get this. Okay, side note. Remember that one, the combative part. We were. I didn't realize it. So one of the talks, there was a snake came through, and all of a sudden there's a snake going through, and this is awesome. The guy grabs it. It was awesome. But then another talk in Chicago. There was a massive spider. This like coming down. And it's like coming up the head, and I'm like, oh, don't come down, it's gonna stop it. It was crazy. Yeah, that's right. So that's why when everybody looked up, I'm like, is there a spider again? Okay.
I get it from you.
Okay, so put it this way, I have a theory. Once again, just like people told me, the church told me. See, that's why I'm so against churches and stuff. I'm not against Christ. I'm not against Christian people. Not this, but just a church in general is a religious aspect that way. Is the things I do today. HR said, not our HR, hey, you can't run a company. No, you're going to run a company this way. And HR are going to run it this way too. They told me it couldn't happen. I'm like, yeah, let's prove it. Prove you wrong and stuff like that. But I believe, this is my personal opinion, and you want something? We're going to go through, and you're going to end on this one. Not the end the whole thing, but you're going to end on what you end this one. I think it's more effective. I think that if all of a sudden, Dean's fucking up, that what's your best friend's name? Just first name? Scott.
I'll tell you a quick story after you.
Yeah, Scott comes in and says, dude, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even gets downright nasty with you.
Yep.
Okay? Even, I think this sometimes too. Guys got to punch another fucking guy. Do you saying?
If there was more of that, there'd be a lot less pussies in the world.
That's my point. But here's what happens this. Instead of a woman saying, my church said this, and all the bullshit that these women do think they get this, it's like going, all the churches are doing is they're propping women up and they're creating them to be combative, and then they go, it's like, I'm a Christian girl and I had right say it. I'm going, and guess what happens? We don't want to fuck you anymore, no matter, even if you're a 10.
And then when the woman hits the man, nothing happens to her.
Yeah.
Because that's
Well, there's
Yeah, the
not
consequences
assault.
aren't the
That's
same,
not
yeah.
assault. That's defending herself.
Oh, remember, I
So-
actually can honestly tell you there's a divorce from an ex-Packer player where they demonized him and she used to hit him and stuff like that. And all the Christian women got behind her and all the bullshit. And I'm like going, and he was known as the community's great Christian, good man that way. And he ended up finding a church that was really stupid because now it's just like, treats women like dogs and has no value. But I understand why he did it. I understand because he tried to do everything right and then tried to use the Bible authority. And so he found a church that gave it so much authority to the man that you had to become a doormat. And so that is just like, but she created that. She created that. And the friends created that too. And everybody knows who I'm talking about for things there. And he has 3 initials on there as a football player, but we'll leave it at that. But the point is this. No, and they demonize him. But it was all the Christian women. And it's this, I'm sitting there going, you're all freaking wrong. All you women, you created that bullshit. Because you know something? If that would have come about not coming from a woman, it coming from a guy. So let's say Scott would have came to you and been like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Because the combativeness coming from her. That's I personally believe. Now I said you can agree, disagree. Do you think that personal combativeness hurt that marriage?
Yeah, like I said, the competition.
And what was your story you can talk about?
The competition hurt that, but I'll go back to Scott because. So yesterday I celebrated a milestone. So I talked last time being a leukemia bone marrow transplant survivor. So yesterday was my 36th anniversary.
Yep.
So I posted it out there. Scott sent me a post yesterday and said, "Hey, I'm glad you made it. Really proud of you, and I appreciate our friendship since the age of 12. We have been in 2 fistfights together
Nice.
for different reasons.
Yeah.
And I smacked the hell out of him, and he smacked the hell out of me, and we did it twice.
Yep.
We're still best friends.
That's my point.
And my wife is confused by that. I go, this is what guys do. We
That's
beat
the point.
hell out of each
Because you're a
other.
man and you're not going to carry that pettiness with you for 17 more
Right. I
years.
said we punch each other,
Yeah.
and then we go have beer, and we
Yeah.
laugh about what just
Yes.
happened. Oh, you sucker punched me, asshole. It's like, no, I didn't. You got a fair shot. I got a fair shot.
Yeah.
Shut up and drink.
Yeah.
Somebody's always getting sucker punched.
Yeah, that's
how
right.
it goes. That's
What's
the
it-
way it works.
Do you know what's really funny? I talk about a totally different thing that way. You talk about this way. Okay? It's like when people say, when there's a fight, it doesn't matter how you fight. It's winner or loser.
Right.
I punch you in the nuts. Well, good. I still won. You say I kicked you. So you have a point.
Yeah.
Yes, we've all said that.
So
Yeah, all
Dan,
my,
being
all my
married.
closest friends, I'll tell you what, have all punched me.
Yeah. So Dan, think
I,
of it this
I
way.
haven't punched you.
We're getting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see
So,
what
I
happens
want-
in
so,
the
I
ring.
want-
so
I
Dan,
wanna
Dan, let's
get
come back to
to
this.
this.
In any just
wanna go
history
ahead.
that way, would you want the combativeness come from your wife or combativeness coming from best friend?
From the friend for sure. 100%.
See, women understand this. Travis, bring the camera at me on this one because I want you guys to understand this. Ladies, understand this. You are not winning no matter what the fuck your pastor says, no matter what your friend says, no matter what all these people say. These combative fucking women, we don't want it.
We don't want it.
We can combat with men all day long. We can take harsh words from men more than we ever take from women because once again, and they're wrong. Now watch this. Watch this though. If it's in a job situation, I don't look at your wife like a female when she's working here, because she's now entered society, and society is based on male characteristics, which can be dominant, things like this, and I expect her to be aggressive. That's what I said. She has it tougher in life than you and I do, because she has to now come home, turn on the feminine to turn you on, because she took that combativeness, or she took that war that way, and come home, you're like, I'm not fucking you. No, you get my point though. And see, that's the thing. And then women, I want you to understand the fact that it's like, listen, is don't do that. Don't listen to your church saying you should have the right to say. Trust me, you can have the right to do anything you want. It's just not going to end well for you, because he's going to search for another non-combative woman like you did. Do you understand?
100%.
Dave, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, everybody said it already. I really don't have much else to touch on. It's,
Antonio, what are you learning now that you're going to propose to McKenzie soon? Mackenzie's like,
Tomorrow,
she's a great.
1 year and 7 days.
That's right.
That's a big day. That's a big
special
deal.
day.
7 days. That's
Yeah.
right. No, I mean, honestly, this is pretty along the lines of how I was raised, what I learned through, all the things coming up through life and all the things you teach. So it doesn't feel like there's anything new. It just feels like, oh, thank God there's someone else that thinks the same way I do.
Normal? I know, it's great.
Because, I mean,
but our normal isn't considered normal anymore. Our normal is being that
Right.
far right that you can't say that because
But it's
it's not normal.
Yeah, we're just trying to make it normal.
and that's why I'm trying
Bring it
to.
back.
I'm trying to
We're bringing
communicate
it back.
community of people to go, fuck you, church, you're wrong. Your pastor, you're a pussy. Screw you guys, you're wrong. And so that and see, it's like this story I told, and it just made a very roar when I tell the story when this fat woman at Festival Foods told me I didn't have a mask, and I told her she didn't have a treadmill. And so with that, that's really true. No, but it's really true. It's like going, you know what happens is the next time evil thinks of speaking, what is she going to do? She's going to bite her tongue. She's going to bite her tongue. Do you understand?
Yes.
And that's why the pastors here won't come on, because all look at pastor and go, you pay your son to play guitar for $100,000. He shows up on Sunday. It's kind of a joke. And then people still go there and make excuses for him. Women like, oh, but he's a man of God. Oh, we all have sin. You're fucking letting it happen, and you're giving that money to church, and he's begging for it, and he's paying his son $100,000 to play guitar. Not that it's a real example here in Green Bay East Side Church over that way, and then you can laugh for all you want to whatever marriage or anything that way, and you're fucking doing a bunch of shitty shit. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's like, because you're laughing all at the bank when you're taking all their fucking money.
Fucking hypocrites.
Yeah, exactly. It's like going, it's like, and it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I said, and that's like, and you wonder why I'm critical of church? I sat on a church board, watched going, I'm like, you guys are fucking ridiculous liars in front of everybody. At least I'm transparent about everything that way. My mistakes, my successes, everything like that. And it's like, and I said, they need to punch in the face. The pastor needs a punch in the face. The son needs a punch in the face that way. But it's like, oh, he's a man of God. Well, what do you consider? I always tell people, tell me what a man of God is. And then it's like this. We at least have defined masculinity and femininity, and everybody agrees with on that way. Like, what's a man of God? Every woman for a different church tells you something different. That's why there's 300 freaking denominations. At least the Catholic Church said, I'm a Catholic, and they could define it. Now the new Pope come in and became more woke, and guess what happens? Now I can't define what Catholic is. You understand? Yeah. Now it's just easy to make fun of them being pedophiles. No, you understand that?
Yeah.
That's the world they created.
Yeah. And here's what they can't understand. How the fuck are you going to a Catholic church when you knew it was just that everything that did? You knew they covered it up. Do you understand? Because Christian people are so not good anymore. It's like going, no, you want to shut them down? Don't go. Don't support their stupidity. Why? I love this. I watched people freaking out about California. I'm like, why are you guys freaking out about California? You're the dumbasses that voted for it. And if you don't, then leave the damn state. Do you understand? Well, I can't because no. Don't tell me you can't. Don't tell me you need to get the fucking shot. My job. You could have got a different job. Do you understand? Oh no, just stop. Just say you're weak. Do you understand? Just admit it. I'm okay if you say I'm weak and I'm scared. That's cool. Don't be, like even this pastor that I was just making fun of because I'm laughing now. Is the fact that he's like, don't quit your job. You make $100. Just get the shot. God will protect you and all that bullshit. And now there's more heart disease, more heart problems from Christian people that got there and love thy neighbor.
But in the end, I was one out of like 15 in my office that refused to get the vaccine.
Yep.
I waited every day for him to mandate it, and
Yep.
I'm like, I'll take the termination and ride it out. I've got better and bigger things to do than worry about what is going to happen down the road. You just make it work.
Make it work.
And I've said it from day one, and I'll say it again. I'm not going to bend over and take it. That's not
Right.
who I am.
I am so thankful for this pandemic and these shots, because I sniffed the bullshit out right away on my previous job, and I told them in my review, which was a very good review actually, one of my best I've ever had, and I told them, I said, just so you know, these masks are going to lead to vaccines, and I'm not doing either of them, and I don't find that to be weird that I got let go shortly after that, but the rest is history. I'm here.
Wow.
I'm here.
Unrelated.
And that, you know, and that's the thing, like, I wasn't terminated. I chose to leave when I did after all of this stuff was done, but I fought it. I stood up to it.
Yep.
I was disciplined for not wearing a mask. I was disciplined for this. I was told you had to do that, and I just kept taking it, and they thought it was going to be what broke the camel's back.
Yep.
Well, I waited it out, and then when everything got back to normal and they started dangling that, hey, we're getting a $15 an hour raise, you might want to think about staying. No, bye.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then my supervisor, 10 minutes after I sent my resignation, is everything okay?
Yep.
Yeah, it's great, because I got 2 weeks.
Yep. Well, it's so funny. That's where the people say, I got to support my family. I got to, and see, you know, everybody has an excuse why not to be a man and why not be a woman. Everybody has an excuse. You know what I'm saying? It's like all the pastors, well, you know, that no excuses. Don't sit there and act strong. And then when it comes to time, there was really, like I said, you know, it's really funny. Look at the movie Saving Private Ryan. Okay. Just the first scene, I think, is so impactful. You had guys that legitimately that were standing in front of the boats, knowing that they could die, and they're running towards it. Then you had guys that were sitting the beta, what was it?
Soy latte pussified beta males.
Your soy boys sitting, sucking their thumb, crying. Do you understand? Both wearing the same uniform. You understand? So I'll say right out, I wish there was amazing churches. I will call myself a Christian person, but your friend's husband probably a wimp. Anyway, so I always go from there. It's like, you know, and if he's not, come on here. Well, invite her on the podcast. She won't. She'll be fucking. She'll sit. Most people are just sit behind, and then she, you know, sit behind closed doors and be critical. Do you understand? I think about this the other day. Do you know some of this? What does critics add to society? Nothing. No. They do nothing. They sit around and do nothing. See, it's like go and build something. You understand? Critics do nothing. They add nothing. Let's say this. Like it's like by nature, critics are just parasites. They live off everybody else's what they're building. Do you understand? And it's like, you know, and that's why I can sit and debate these things all day long because I've thought through, looked at, I've had experience of it that way. I've built a massive international company, all things that from scratch. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's kind of nice. Now we have that thing move forward. Remember I said you're gonna comment
About which part? There's a lot of things going on right now. I have like solidly 3 things to talk about.
all 3 of them. Go for it.
Okay, well, you were talking before about does the woman go to the man or does the best friend go to the man?
That's
And
right. That's one thing.
So that's the first thing. And so I'll say that the woman, like, we don't really probably want to do that either. We do want men to take care of their own things. We don't really want to be your accountability partner. We just want to be your woman. So just for whatever that's all worth.
Wait, no. Let's not. No, don't go next point.
Oh,
Next
sorry.
point. No. I want you to run this point because
didn't have
it's
any
coming
more.
from you.
I
No.
didn't
Think
have
this
any
way.
more on that.
You don't. You know that's why it's like when people tell me my wife's my running mate. I'm like, then you're fat and fucking can't run fast. Do you understand?
Right.
Because she's not supposed to be your running mate. Because you know what happens? You're supposed to be the protector and provider and all things that you're supposed to be way out ahead of her. Do you understand? And it's like going. So therefore, it's like going. If she's keeping up to you, you're running slow. Do you understand? And that's what I said.
Right.
That's why like my wife's. No. Listen, if there's polarity, you can't be partners.
Depolarization.
You understand?
Yeah.
You have to depolarize. You have to become more alike to run together. You understand?
Right.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
That is what would need to happen.
Right. That's my point. It's like
Then you're just 2 friends living together.
that. And who wants to fuck your friend?
Nobody wants that.
Do you understand?
Yep.
That's right.
I
No,
wanna
but
I want
no,
to fuck a
want-
man.
That's the
But I
point.
want
But
him to
see,
fuck me,
but see,
actually.
so let's do this. Let's comment because we got more people watching live. We got more people that says, "Do watch
Nice.
this." Think of it this way: is women out there? Well, let me get the 3 ladies sitting right there. Okay, do you want to be your man? Sarah, we'll start with you. Do you want to be your man's accountability partner? That's the point. So what you just said there is like you ask real women. They're like going, "I want to be his accountability partner."
No, nobody wants to do that.
And on top of it, I don't mean this negatively, but if a man's on a growth track, they don't need a accountability partner.
Right. They don't need that
Because
either.
I go to Travis all the time. Travis, I want to work on my biceps. What do I got to do here? Do this, and this. He doesn't-
Speaking
And,
of-
and a woman wouldn't make a good accountability partner anyway because she's probably too soft. She can't push like a man can. So-
No. Well, on top of it, like I said, we
Don't
talk about
trust
the
that.
prison thing. He's, you know, besides being in prison, he's a good kid. He's in fucking jail. You understand? He's not that good.
Right.
You know, it's like, so that's why, like I said, when you said that, it's really true. It's just like, because you don't want to be that. Now,
No.
on the flip side, here's what happens. Now, you're a woman who also enters society. You're in society right now and stuff like that. And let's say for this podcast to compete and do everything that way,
I gotta act like a man.
that's my point.
That's why I do.
Yeah. Is that, see,
I mean, I
that's-
curl my hair, but besides
You are
that,
the prettiest man ever.
thanks.
there's some men that disagree with that. So.
And we talked about them earlier.
Yes,
yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I digress.
as they're drinking their soy latte.
A lot.
Okay,
Yes,
your second
so
point.
good. Oh, the other thing I was gonna say, I think you were talking about it. I can't remember who was talking about it, but we also need to go to a point where like women are calling each other out on the like abuse thing, the hitting thing, and stuff like that, because that's insane. The story that you were talking about before, and what really should be happening in society is women like you can't make those kind of accusations of a man, and if you do, and if you're wrong, like you got to serve whatever the sentence is, you got to pay the fine, because that's going to get rid of everything that's actually just bullshit out there.
So-
That'll go away very, very fast. All these nonsense lawsuits will go away. I don't know, lawyers, I guess maybe won't have as much to do, but
So, since you made the comment, I'm running your stuff today.
Oh, go
okay,
ahead,
can I
yeah.
have this?
Go ahead.
Is
then I have one
so
more.
let's say just in general, but speak like the average woman that way, is let's say that you were getting fat.
oh yeah.
And Andy come to you and said, I didn't sign up for that fat ass. No, you saying?
Yeah.
But here's the point is this is would that be easier coming from Andy or your best friend?
Oh, from a friend.
That's my point. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I'm saying?
But women also don't do that, right? Because you have all the women who are posting how they love their roles, and then all the women in the comments are like, "Yeah, you look great," and they're all lying to each other. So women don't do that either.
But I actually think women by nature like when other women get fat. There's less competition.
Well, yeah, exactly. It makes them feel prettier.
They're easier tens.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're easier. Yes, I saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're a Cribbits 10.
Yeah, that's okay. 10's a 10. 10's a 10.
I missed that part. I'm
That's
sorry.
right. No, but get my point though. So let me ask a question. We went over there. Do you want your man coming and saying the things? No, but can you? But would it be easier to hear? Yes, but it would be easier. But it would be easier to hear it from another woman. That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
But when they do change for the better, compliment it.
Oh, better
Yes.
Because
yes.
that
Yes.
makes
Absolutely.
them more confident
Yes.
than even another
Yes.
woman saying, "You're letting yourself."
Yes.
go."
Right, and compliment
That's right. Yes, exactly.
and compliment
But
a
not-
lot because women have the attention span of a gnat.
Yes.
But not-
well, and they also
were you
talk
saying?
about the confidence. I've taught people this all over the world. Women don't have confidence. They're not supposed to. They don't have testosterone. They can have the yes, I look better than somebody else that way, but they compare themselves to another. Even a 10 will compare themselves to another woman, but they still feel insecure. They still think they still talk negative themselves because their boobs are just not right. Because a girl has just a little better boobs. Their ass is just not right. Remember,
Her hair is perfect.
Hers,
her
yeah,
eyebrows
hers.
are perfect. Her lips are perfect.
That's
her-
right,
yeah,
exactly.
Women check out women way more than they check out
I
men.
actually
By far.
judge myself based on other men. Side note.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, when people ask me, how much you bench press? My answer is always the same. Not enough.
Yeah.
I am my biggest critic.
Yeah, you're
And
supposed to be.
I think that's probably why I'm successful.
I was just gonna say, you have to be your biggest critic. That's
Yeah.
I see it every day out in the industry I'm in now, running my own small business.
Yep.
I'm running around with brand new equipment, brand new stuff. I show up to a job site. I'm by myself. I got 2 mowers. I got 2
Yep.
trimmers. I got 2 of everything. I've got people come over. Who are you working with? Me. Well, why do you need all that stuff? Well, my job doesn't stop if something breaks down.
Right.
So I got to be ready to prepared for the worst, and I've built it to be able to do that by myself. But I take pride in how my appearance is when I'm out on a job site. I wear long sleeves. I don't want to fit the persona of tattooed white trash. I do what I have to do. My truck's clean. My equipment's clean. That's what I'm at. I don't want the rusted out piece of shit truck. I don't want my mower falling apart, starting a fire. That all goes to show that I want to be better than the next guy. That makes my business better.
You know, when I'm in the gym, like to your point, how much do you lift? When I'm in the gym and I see these other guys working out, these other 20-somethings, my whole focus, I'm going to show them how you really work out.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm 55 years old, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna crush it today.
Yep.
And crushed it once not on purpose, but I
Just
will
a tip.
just a tip. But I will, but I will push harder on days like that when I got guys on the benches next to me or on.
Oh, That's it's funny you say that because get this, Dr. Todd, we're over at Dr. Todd and in Ohio. Nice to see you that way. But so guess what? We had the doctors here for a summer that way. So we're all back to working out. Me, Samson, you, Jeremy that way. And Todd's like, remember this? He's like, I was sore for days because by nature, when you're on other guys, you can't even let your friends out, do you?
Let me the seminar, we had a seminar in May when the weight room finally was getting put together. It was probably about 60% done. And Doc blasted that speaker, and all the doctors and all the people flocked in, and we grinded. I was sweating like I was trying to balance my checkbook. It was, you know what
I know your checkbook. It's getting better and better and better.
Yes, it is. Thanks to your side note, you actually helped me with my finances from looking at it, going, okay, do this. He helps with all the M's. But no, but you're right. You get people in there with the same mindset. And all of a sudden, that testosterone kicks in, the adrenaline kicks in, and now you're doing a couple extra reps that you didn't think you had in you when you're by yourself.
And you can tell the guys that are there that are not, they're not doing it. You know what I mean?
Not pushing.
But when the ones that are there pushing it, because you know who they are, you start watching them. It's like, I'm going to take the bench right next to you, and when you're throwing 80-pound dumbbells on for a bench press, I'm going to put 90s. I'm going to take 90s out, and I'm going to do some. Well, you did 6 reps. I'm going to do 10.
Well, that's what people think. People think like if there's a girl in the gym that you're going to work hard because of that. It's not true.
No, it's the guys.
It's not true. It's when the guys are there that way because you just don't want to be. It's by our natural competition for each other. It's like it's that natural selection. Like, no, I'm going to push harder. I'm push harder that way. It's like
I'm the alpha in the room when I'm going to the gym. That's my mindset.
Yep.
My mindset is I look forward to beating you in that. And
exactly.
Vice versa, you know what I mean? That's
but
just the way it is.
Well, that's why. No joke. It's really funny. Watch this. And I'm in a room. People that obviously, I've been very clear about I'm worth a ton of money, and I get people a room worth a ton of money that way. And what happens is like, what's the one thing we never talk about? Racism. All the dumb shit that people fight about. It's only poor people that are taught to fight about that shit.
Yeah,
we're always trying to get better. We're not looking at differences. We're looking at how can we outdo each other in competition. I won't care if you're black, white. Well, it's like a guy's going, no, listen, we laugh at people that fight over dumb shit. Because when you're poor and you got time to do something that way, you sit there and you watch Pac Game and you fight about racism. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But when you're objectively trying to go after things that are great, you don't worry about the dumb shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. Because you realize life is hard, and I don't got to worry about if you're black or white or shit. That I got shit to do, and I don't even worry about this. I don't give a fuck what the Packers do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like going, because why? They're not making me worth 200 million, 300 million, things like that. And it's like, no, if I owned them, and maybe guess what? I'd care about it because it's making me money. You know what I'm saying? And
you're right about the race. I mean, like 2 of my closest friends in high school were Joe and Tyree, both black. And I never said, well, I didn't quit trying to dunk the basketball. We were always trying to dunk, one up each other. I didn't go, well, you just can do that because you're black. I never once. I said, screw that. I'm going to do more squats. I'm going to jump harder. I'm going to stay here longer. I'm going to do more. And guess what? Well, Terry still was the best dunker, but I beat Joe.
That's what you didn't know. He was working harder than you.
Danny, you something to say.
Could be.
Second place is still losing.
That's
true.
right.
That is true. There's only one winner.
That's right. Danny.
Anything. I'll do my third point.
Yep.
You brought this up before. You were going to ask me, what was it? Like, who should teach women?
Yes,
about this
and
kind
we're
of
gonna
thing?
We're gonna get the advice of these 3 women over here too. So
Okay.
Well,
first of all, that's like also asking women, well, who's going to teach you to have a baby? Like that's inherent. Like you just know that. You don't need to be taught that. These are qualities that are inside of all of us if we actually just like step back and think about it. Right. But I guess if you really need to be taught about these things, like I think it should be one of those things that's like it's passed down from generation and generation and generation. Right. We should be taking that wisdom from the grandparents and the moms and things like that and learning about men and how to treat men and how we are supposed to act and what would be attractive to them and how we can support them and how we can be peaceful with them and what femininity really means and how we can bring color to that black and white world.
Ladies, so like I said, so you think this way, it's like
give them a microphone because nobody.
Well,
can
no,
hear them.
I'll repeat what they say, but I think it's.
I'm just saying nobody can hear them.
Right, your mama should. One day at the Dars, and they're like, "Hey, Dad's a G, Mom, how'd you get him?" Do you understand? Think of that way, going, "How'd you get him?" It's like So what do you think? How should it be done?
How should you get them?
No. How should teaching? Who should teach women how to be feminine?
Oh, we teach our daughters.
Daughters, or so moms, grandmas.
That whole feminine, but then
So the passed down, you'd say.
yes, and I think it's also the validation of the fathers.
Right.
And
But a father still doesn't know how to be feminine. Do you understand?
true.
He's still protective.
Is protective? Yes. Aaron, what do you think?
I would say that a protective father allows that girl to understand that inherent nature comes out for sure. The mom's display that to be taught, but I think that we have to do better as women surrounding each other also to help raise that up.
Sarah?
I'm gonna give a completely different answer. I had no good female role models, so I asked
No good female role models?
how can I be a good wife to support you?
You asked who?
I asked my husband,
God,
Make
asked
me a
husband.
sandwich.
what do you need from me?
Sandwiches.
Well, I think that's why. I think that's why when
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
very
why
fair,
when I sat down and like, okay, how do we describe the masculinity? And I came up with 3 M's, and then you came around. So then we started all sitting down and dialogue going, how do you explain femininity? Going sexy, serene, and supportive. Remember, serene brings peace. Look at it. Do me a favor. It was kind of cool. We did this the other day. Serenity. You know what I'm saying? People don't realize.
Serenity now.
Do we put serene or serenity?
Serene.
Serene. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think it depends on whether we want to use
How do you spell
adjectives
serene?
or SERENE. Wait,
There you go.
SERE.
Yep,
Yeah.
so. Yes. Peaceful, untroubled, tranquil, calm. Do you know what I'm saying? It's what they bring you and stuff. It's like, because then it defines, it's really true, and but it's really funny. But wait, Sarah, let me ask you a question. What if you were married to a soy boy and you asked him?
I have 2 previous marriages with joy boys, and I kicked them out.
Yeah, but see, how would if you didn't have
They'd be modeling femininity
but I want
themselves.
you to think about this. Let's say that just like when I talked to Dean about having the combative woman that way, if we're supposed to learn from, but let's say you go, okay, I'm going to ask the man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm married, I attract this guy to say, but he's a soy boy. Do you know what I'm saying? He's gonna give you answers that, you know what I'm saying?
It didn't sit well.
Yeah.
When I gave the answers, it went against that internal nature that I had. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yep.
The soy boys didn't make sense.
Soy boys
Everyone-
didn't make, yeah,
everyone
soy boys
listening.
didn't make sense and stuff like that. So, go ahead, Travis.
What do you call soy boys?
Soy latte pussified beta males.
Love it.
I'm just gonna
I
keep
love
saying
it.
it till everybody can roll it off the tongue.
Well, remember, we're gonna go look at our T-shirts.
oh yeah,
soon.
we're getting merch for this.
There's
It's
merch,
not.
right?
It's the way you say it. It just sounds cool.
I know it does.
That's why I don't say it. That's why I ask her,
It's the
Sarah
way
Peter,
I
every time.
say
It
it.
sounds better coming from a female. Do you saying?
You know what?
Push button on
And
the
the
shirt.
more
I know.
Yes. Just like
Should've
boss
pushed button on the
bitch.
table.
Boss bitch comes so good from my mouth that way.
Yeah,
And we're
soy
like,
boys, yep.
And you know what? Every year, I purge a little more soy that was brought up from society, through my years. And I'll tell you what, and the more I become a stronger man, it's funny how my wife falls in line. And I don't mean in a, make
No,
me
no.
a sandwich,
Nope,
bitch.
nope.
No, I
Don't-
mean it.
don't even disclose
No,
it.
I don't even
Just
have
say
to.
it.
Half the stuff,
yeah,
I
but
don't have to say it
no,
anymore.
no. Here's what happens. It's okay to tell her to make a sandwich. You know why? Because you know something is this. If somebody steals her purse, she expects you to beat the crap out of that guy. She expects you to be this way. So guess what happens? It's like going.
Make
there's
daddy a sandwich.
Make daddy a sandwich.
Get your
With
bitch ass in
guy.
the kitchen and make him a pie.
Yeah, that's right.
Now you're talking.
She did after my no sugar. It was phenomenal.
South Park,
That's nice.
anybody?
But
No.
joke's
Yes.
on me
I
though.
love
She
it.
put
All right, thank you.
xylitol in there, and I.
That's
Somebody
Cartman.
has to
Wasn't
say,
warning
hopefully
Yeah, say it like
somebody
Cartman.
gets that.
So
No. Yeah.
we'll circle back to that.
Yes. No, but that's the thing. It's like that's the point about it. It's like going. If you look at it this way, we've been harping on men a lot. I like to harp on men a lot because I guess I'm a man, and so that's like so the idea of this is going. I just believe I got to teach guys. You know what I'm saying? And now that I got all the people out of the way that stopped me from doing that way, and have massive HR department supports that way because it makes the work environment for women 10 times better, and I employ a ton of women. But the idea is this is like, but I really started thinking about this. I'm going, something I want to see where women are supposed to learn this from, because if you think they're fucking learning from the church, if that was the case, divorce rate wouldn't be the way it is.
And seeing it from my point of view, I go back to nature versus nurture. Nature, you're going to learn it from instinct. Nurture, you're going to be coddled and given the answer. And you have to fight to be better at it. You're going to learn. You're going to make mistakes. And as a parent, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And neither did my wife. But she learned it faster than I did because that's what she knew. That's how she handled it. And she became better. She became the best. So nature versus nurture.
Yep. Well, I said this the other day. Who tolerates bad behavior more? Women or men?
Women.
Women do by far. That's the nurturing part of them that way. Guys will change really quickly. Like, fuck next, saying some of that. I mean, just anything. Like, but the only sad part is, unless you have a male in your life going, dude, life is hard. Stick with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Life is hard. Stick with it. That's why, it's kind of funny. I think that and I teach this to all the guys, and I think this is a great thing. I think we have to tell men that you have to run towards hard things every single day. Run towards them, because then what happens when something really comes apart, you're like, okay, good. I'm prepared not to be happy. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's why I will say this. It's like that's why when people say, well, you just gotta be happy, I'm like, oh no. Guys being happy is like a woman realizing that life is too easy. It's just gonna end up destructive. The girl's gonna create problems. The men are gonna be like, well, it just she doesn't make me happy anymore. I'm like, actually, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, you know, just some thoughts and stuff. Antonio, what you got? Because you've been quiet for a little bit that way. Our 25-year-old soon-to-be doctor.
Have you guys ever seen Mouse Utopia at all? Does that make it ring any bells?
Is that on
Mouse Utopia?
Disney
No.
Channel?
It's a YouTube. No.
Mouse
I was gonna say like he's young, but
No. It's basically, I mean, what we're talking about. How, you know, when you're in a, I guess I'll summarize it. When you're in like a rural place, like just outside of Green Bay, you got farmland. Like, if I have a house and a family, my neighbor is an asset because we're either both producing stuff on a farm or we're hunting. So if I break my foot and it's like, oh, we just had a snowstorm, now I can ask you as
Community.
an asset to
It's
come
community.
over, shovel the driveway so that my wife can take the kids to school, whatever. But in a city, you will walk over homeless people every day. So you don't respect other human lives, and that city doesn't produce anything. It just takes. It takes food, it takes resources, and then those people start to value other humans less and less and less. You get more violence. Now men and women start to switch roles after the population gains a certain point, and then you got TV programming, all this. So it's like,
Well,
it's almost like it's by design to split that home.
it's
in
like
half.
why
no, they
people
wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's like why people talk about small town communities. The accounting
What?
rule was that one.
Dunbar's number.
Dunbar's number, like I said, the 142 aspect that way. Because you know what's really funny, but I don't mind stepping over homeless people. Let me explain. Because see, all the over-spiritualized Christian people are going to freak out now the way. And it's like, because here's what happens this. Nor did you give a shit that kids died from Africa today. Because the farther you get away from the people that you're in the community and live life with, the less you give a shit about them. Like, for example, Travis, Sarah, Waltons all are my family. I'm a communist. I want to take care of them. Do you understand? I want Travis to continue to make a ton of money, and I'm going to help him get there, take care of him. You understand? You know, now my next distance out there, there's less people out there. Now they're friends. Now I'm more of a Democrat. Hey, you got to put a little bit more in this, and then it goes farther out. So when you have more people in that community, that homeless person there, you know, guess what happens? Don't give a shit. Do you understand? Because you know why? It's not part of my community. Well, we live in the same town. There's only so many Dunbar number that you can, there's only that you can take care of. And see, now government's trying to say we can take care of everybody with your money. Do you understand? It's like no. If I'm gonna take care of my team, I'm gonna take care of my team, my stuff that way. You understand? It's like, and so I just I look at it this way. It's like, and this is gonna sound really brutal, but I want you to think about this. I know I watched, because you guys know I'm heavily involved in politics. I watched people freaking out about, you know, all the drugs coming over and laced with fentanyl and all things of this, and there's people dying. I like that they die.
We don't have to take care of them.
We don't have to take care of them. I like that people fucking die from drug overdose, some of this. I do. I actually enjoy it. Do you know why? Because you're not going to be good for society anyways. So then I'm fucking taking care of you with my tax dollars, and you're going to play a thing. These people are dying from fentanyl. Let them die. You know what I'm saying? Just like it's like going, just like this. It's going to sound a little less brutal, but let people, here, watch this. Let's do this. We all know that obesity is huge today, and people are taking fucking insulin like crazy this way. And people say, well, you know, insulin's getting out of control and I can't think, so we need universal health care so everybody doesn't have it. Fuck you, you fat ass. You'd stopped eating so much shit. Because
If you took care of yourself, you can be diabetic and not be on insulin. I'm diabetic. I'm not on insulin.
right, but you
And I'll
can
never be
still,
on
but you
insulin.
can take care of yourself though. You can really make it, because the majority of people, remember there are exceptions,
Right.
but the majority of people. But here's what happens: this, it's they're going, you're not my community. Why should I take care of you? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we really do. That's why people always like talk about, you know, don't care about homeless. I'm like going, I don't give a shit about homeless. You know what I'm saying? Now, if my sister was homeless, I'm gonna care, and I'm gonna take my money and do stuff. Now, they're wrong. There's an element that would say she's a crack whore. Do you understand? And she's doing stuff that you just gotta let them go. Do you understand? But if they're in my family, I'm gonna try to take care of them. You understand? But then see that we all of a sudden, because all we have to do is go beyond Dunbar's rule and go, but this person is suffering, and put Sarah McLachlan on there. I will remember. You understand? And all that bullshit, and then it's like going, oh, and then with women in society, they go,
Bleeding
oh,
hearts.
you're right. We got to take care of them.
all the dogs, and I'm gonna rescue all the black little kids.
Do you know what's really funny? During
But only the
COVID,
black ones.
during
In
COVID, people
Only.
were begging. You know, you watch all these foundations, the animals. I'm like going, that shouldn't even be allowed to run on TV. There's freaking people that can't. Do you understand? Think about it this way. Look how much money Ukraine. I'm going to Maui. I will be there on Saturday. And Durham in the Wellness Way is doing a thing out there in February for people donating money, doing stuff, everything like that. We put our money where our mouth is that way. And fucking Biden gave them $600 a piece for people that lost their homes. And stuff like that. Yet Ukraine got another $47 billion.
It's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
What the hell are all you guys doing voting for Democrats for? And if it was a Republican being dumb, I'd say, what the hell are you doing voting for Republicans that way? You saying?
But get me started. Everything I have to say will be
but
deleted.
I'm just worried that
But the
Linda's
government's
going to
not
church.
about the people anymore. They're about the money.
But you know why it is though? Is because all you fuckers that call yourself good sit in churches and don't say a damn thing, and I'm the one up there fighting, and you're up there fighting, we're fighting. You're saying it's because men are a bunch of fucking pussies today.
It's true. I mean, you look at how we all sit here and just take it up the rear end. You know, I look at John the Baptist. I was that guy taking it in the rear end quietly for a long time, but he told me knock it off, and I did. And here's the thing: I'm gonna call people out for their shit, and if you can't handle it, that's on you. That's not on me. I'm gonna call you out for being an ass. I'm gonna call you out for being stupid or thinking or being the silent majority. All the things. Don't even get me started. But it's time to start standing up and pushing back. Otherwise, it's just gonna keep happening.
Yep.
You know, who wants to see all your hard-earned money go to Ukraine, or Iran, or wherever else we don't even know about?
Yeah, we
It's
have
bullshit.
enough of our own problems.
So the
Yes.
question is, because I'm heavily involved in politics
Yep.
as well, run for state office,
Yep.
seen behind the curtain. What is the number one purpose of a politician?
It's actually simple. If you look at the definition of politics, do you know what it stands for? Community. That's why local politics are more important.
They absolutely are.
And that's why it said, and you take care of your community that way. And therefore, it's like, that's why the federalism of what we're doing now, you got to remember, the worst thing that ever happened in the federal government is they got tax dollars.
Yep.
Because it used to be contributed by states. See, like I said, people don't realize I'm a huge historian. I'm huge, and people don't realize that when it said, hey, you know, we need to fund the war, so we're just going to take 1%.
Right. Then it grew and it grew.
And it grew and grew, and then people are okay with it. And it's like this. I fought and I voted no. You know something? We just need to put a 0.5% tax on everybody for the new Packer Stadium and stuff like that. It's like going, guys, you're never going to give it fucking back. And then all of a sudden, even Republican said, well, we got to keep it for libraries now, all stuff like this. No, we don't.
Yep.
You were saying it's like going, I'm sorry, and I knew the mayor quite well. I'm like going, but see, what happens is because it's like going, you know, and I said this before when we had a politician last time, last time I was here, and I'm like going, you know, I don't believe anybody should be involved in politics if they have never owned a business.
Correct.
Because you would never say, well, and we spend $10 trillion and we have a budget of 5, and we spot 5. I'd be out of business within a year.
Yep. But when you get but when you get above the local politics, I agree. Local's where you got to go. That's where all the action has to happen.
Yep.
When you go to state and fed,
Yep.
the number one purpose of a politician is to raise money to get reelected.
Oh, by far. By
They-
far.
When you go behind the curtain, they are shutting down. They're shutting down the legislature at a certain
Yeah.
point, and they'll spend the next 9 months raising money to get reelected.
Sure, by
that's
far.
All, that's all they do, and
Yep.
that's all a power grab to make sure Republicans are in power or Dems are in power. Right now, the Dems in the state are complaining gerrymandering.
Yep.
The Republicans just about you do the same damn thing
Yep.
if you were in power to make sure your districts were heavier on the Democratic side.
And
That's it. That's all they do.
I've been asked to run for politics a lot. I'm like, I'd be horrible. Because some old person comes say to me, they say, well, you know, I'm worried about Medicare. Well, you're a dumbass that fucking watch Packer game all the time when you could have been working for 3 hours that Sunday and saved up some money. So why the hell do you care if I take somebody else's money to pay for you because you're old? No, see, I'd be like this, and people go, and see, not one of you guys like, that's not a thing. But then why the fuck you don't say it to your grandma? Says, oh, I don't have money. Well, on top of it, going, well, grandma, well, you raised a bunch of fucking idiots, don't have any money, and so therefore it's great. You think this way. Do you know how generations were taken care of before? Big families took care of their grandma and grandpa. I plan taking care of, I do, my mom and dad and things like that. Shit. That's the whole thing is supposed to be. Well, it's because you have money. No, listen. If you knew that it was generationally your responsibility, that the son was knowing that, hey, listen, you have a son, you have a duty. That guess what happens to take care of it this way. You're saying I feel that like, I'm sorry, I believe God that put it in my heart big time. And guess what, Travis? You have a duty to take care of your wife, your kids, and then. Guess what happens? Mom, dad has something like this. There's just something about that son that's supposed to be doing that.
You don't necessarily need to have money for that either, because my parents aren't wealthy or anything like that. And my grandma, she passed away recently, but she lived to 101, and she was still living at home at 101 because my parents were with her.
And I'll tell you what, my dad had cancer. You remember that, and they made me medical power of attorney, whatever that term is. And I did it and I made sure I did everything right to a T. I didn't come to that, thankfully, but. You know what? I mean, my wife and I, we stayed at their house. We were at the hospital. We did whatever we could to make sure we took care of our parents. But that's not taught anymore.
So I want to challenge all you guys here. Okay, not you girls. Okay, because here's one thing where I will sound less brutal the way I did, because I like delivering brutal. I just fills my soul to piss people off, especially
and
with
it shakes
Christian
the tree.
friends.
I like that.
And no, but here's what happens this, because people say. Because I talk about money a lot because it's part of my life. And trust me, I help a lot of people, but I want to think this way. A man only has 3 things to offer when it comes to society: time, energy, and money. So guess what happens? Like you talked about, a man will give his time. So I will tell you what's important in your life. All I do is need a conversation with you, is tell me what you do every single day. Do you know what I'm saying? And where you put your time, energy, and money is who you really are. Do you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I literally had a doctor do this the other day. I had a doctor call me up and he said, he goes, Doc, he goes, been married a little bit. I've been this, and he's doing, good this way, but he still is falling in the trap of society. His wife dominates him and shit like that. And I'm like, and he's like, he goes, as a rich guy, to invest in me, what would you do? And stuff like this. I'm like, so let me ask you a question. Can you retire right now? Nope. And I want to get your opinion on guys in this, okay? I want to get your opinion on this because I have a very strong feeling on this, and I will tell you this. I think I'm right. I mean, I can prove this. I said to him, so, you want to be the man, provide, protect, stuff like this. And he said, yep. I said, okay, how you doing money? How much you have retirement? Nothing. This. I make good money, but him and his wife just spend it and things like that. And he's got 2 kids and stuff like that. And he goes, so would you invest in me? And he said, no. And I said, no. And he goes, what's the number one thing? Why wouldn't you invest in me? I said, because you coach your kids' football team. See, that pissed a lot of moms off right there by saying this way. And it happens this. I'm like going, and I said, so how often you do that? Because it consumes a lot of his time. See, I always tell people this. I don't have a problem with people donating time if you have your life in place first. Because sometimes people donate time at church to feel good themselves about giving up their life. And I'm sorry, is you right now, if something dropped and you got fired, you guys would be screwed. Sorry, it's not a provisional man protecting, providing. I'm not saying you can't go to your kid's game, but the amount of time it takes you to coach every day and stuff like this, and you don't have your shit together yet. So as an investor, I'm not going to invest in you because you're not going to work on a fucking Saturday. I worked 11 hours on Sunday. Now, by me saying this, that alone throws a lot of people off. But I'm like, wait, but you didn't ask me what I did the other times, the other hours I was up. Because I've just told you that. You'd be like, oh, you're a great dad. You're great this. It's like, no, see, I purposely tell them, I worked this many hours on Sunday. And you didn't ask me how many hours up, and you didn't ask me what I did with those other hours. You understand? So I just don't think that that guy, so I won't invest into a guy that's wasting his time, energy, and money. I can't because they're not going to war.
I always told my kids, I'm not going to help anyone unless they help themselves first. Yep. And that's basically what you said to this guy.
Yep.
So I agree with you 100%.
Dave?
I agree. I mean, that's if you're not willing to put your money where your mouth is.
Yep. Time, energy, money.
Do the work to get there. I work weekends.
Yeah.
I
know you've been at my house.
I've been there a lot of weekends.
Yes. It's a big house and a big lawn.
But it's
it's huge.
It's above average.
It's above average.
You get out of it what you put in it.
Yeah.
I put in a lot of hours in my business to get out what I want.
Yep.
I get out the time that I want to be able to have with my family because I work
Right.
hard when I'm working. But being able to split that and say, I used to work a lot of hours to have money. Now
Right.
I work enough hours to have the same amount of money and more time to have a family.
Yep. Travis.
My time is too valuable to be doing it for
That's right.
volunteer.
That's right.
So I did my excuse me, my time in the church, coaching football for almost a decade, and you know what? I gave back, and it got me nowhere. So what I should have done if I can go back to my young self, I would say, you know what? Work your ass off, and then contribute back later on. Once you have your nest egg, your monies, whatever you're looking to accomplish, whatever.
Yep.
But I did it the wrong way, and guess what? I was broke, exhausted, and I had nothing to offer. So
Yep.
sorry for my throat.
Dana.
I wasn't supposed to answer.
That's
It's
right.
For the guys.
That's right for guys.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, I agree, and the beauty of divorce is that it wipes you out financially, emotionally, all the other crap, but it gives you a chance to rebuild in a better way. It has taken a lot of years to kind of get back to almost what I would call normal. But I will never use the phrase new normal. It's the worst freaking
No.
phrase ever invented.
We're all scarred from that.
Yeah. So, but it gets me back to where I'm going, right? So you got to get back on track. I think about, I think Shaq just said this. He goes, my kids are getting nothing.
That's right.
He goes, they'll say, well, Dad, we're rich. He goes, no, I'm rich.
Yeah.
You're poor.
I always told my girls that.
You got to work, so they got to earn it. He believes strongly in that, and I agree with the same thing. My kids are going to outproduce me tenfold, just based on how they're set to go right now. I'm okay with that. That actually makes me really
Right.
Yep.
proud. But for me, I had to rebuild.
Yep.
And to go through that and have to rebuild kind of makes you stronger.
Yep.
Makes you more purposeful.
Yeah.
And I'm involved in a lot of things. It's not all considered volunteer work. A lot of it's based on setting yourself up for the next opportunity.
Yep.
So
Me
Awesome.
too.
Like you said, I mean, you get out what you put in. Like we mentioned McKenzie a couple times now. Didn't think we'd mention her this many times, but until a year ago, she's my first girlfriend. Not because I couldn't get one, because
Dude,
I
you're
knew that
handsome.
they were a waste
They
of
throw 'em
time.
at
I'd be
you.
like, what?
Yeah,
It
what?
was such a waste of time, though. Like, up until, like, I gotta know a bunch of shit. I try to become a doc, like, and then build, like, my own mindsets and my own habits and ingrain them to a point where, okay, now I can, a quarter way through life, now I could take on another task.
Yep.
But I had to build myself first, So to keep building wealth and family and all that,
But that's a boundary you set,
yeah.
and you stuck
Exactly.
to it.
Back to the
And
first question.
Way to.
But that's how.
Wrap
But that's
that
how. it
Wrap that
works.
boundary on. Look at that.
You have that
yeah.
boundary. You knew you needed to stick to it, and that's what works for you. I've been with my wife since I was a junior. She was a senior, and we had our parts and back together and parts and back together. I knew what I wanted to do when I left high school. I went to college for it, and I fell into the Department of Corrections. My boundaries changed, but ultimately in the end, I set up so that I could run my business the way I wanted to down the road and keep my family.
That's how my parents kind of grew up. Like, they were from fifth grade together, on and off, all throughout high school. So when I'm like growing up, I'm like, should I be with people?
I'm already in 6th grade.
Yeah, it's just great. Where's my wife?
Like, what the
Where's my
hell?
wife?
I'm like 15 years behind. But
Yeah.
I needed that because who else is going to develop me but me,
You know,
There's no free handouts.
right.
yeah,
There's
Antonio,
no
you,
free lunches.
I think when you know this, once I met you, I knew you were great and stuff like that. And it's like, and just listening tonight just shows you, it's like that's why you're destined for greatness. I told you that before, and just learn more
agree.
about you tonight. No, it's learning about it tonight. Think about this, because I wish I could go back. It's so funny. If there's one thing that now I have to teach men of today, but I wish I could talk to my younger self, is don't do what you feel, because pussy makes you do a lot of stuff that you shouldn't do because of what it feels. Do you understand?
Think with this head.
Think with that head, yeah, I'm
With that
saying?
head, yep.
It's like, and what I mean by that is this is like going, because you're right, because I think what happens is the fact it's like, you're going to, and that's why constantly, as I say, stop telling young boys be vulnerable. No, keep
up.
it under control.
Drive.
It's like, because you're right, and I want to tell young men this way, listen, you have to build your value, because if you're 40 years and fucking broke, you can be handsome, You can be handsome. You know, Mackenzie's gonna marry you based on one thing right now. Do you know what it is?
Value.
Think this way, it's potential.
Oh yeah, potential value.
Because you haven't proven value yet. You've proven value by getting to college, getting to grad school, but there's a lot of people who get through grad school and suck because then they get out to society and are they prepared by real men to go out there and compete? Do you see him? And so Mackenzie has to take a chance and go, potential. And that's why I think with the lines drawn right now, you're going to see more women coming out of school that know how to be sexy, serene, and supportive, and go, do I want to marry for potential, or this guy is 10 years older than me and he's already got shit going on?
You
And
know
I'm
what's crazy?
sexy.
She sought me after.
Yeah.
I didn't even see her comment.
Yeah.
And the craziest part is like 3 years
Same
ago,
thing about
my mom's like, "There's gonna be a smart ass chick out there that's gonna go bang and
That's
hit me
right.
with the arrow." And I remember it. I got the message. I saw her a couple times in school, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What? This is happening." Like I just put my head down, kept going, and then now it's attractive because you've accumulated all that stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I don't have money, obviously. I'm
I have
a
a young-
broke ass college student,
But
there's potential.
there's
for
potential.
now.
Yeah.
For now.
So anyway, so I had a doc. I have a doc that is kind of funny. A young doc that came out of school, and of course he was dating this girl, and he wanted to move a certain place, and she didn't want to go, and it's kind of funny. And so, anyways, she ended up dumping him, and he called me up, and I said, "Dude, here's what happens. You have one night to hurt. You saying tomorrow, go build your mind, muscle, money. Because guess what happens? I've been training you for years. Darn, was she good looking? Absolutely. But guess what? Don't mean this negatively, but guess what happens? Go build your mind, muscle, money, and they start lining up. Do you understand? And I said, what's going to happen is this. The greatest success, I said to him, is revenge. The greatest revenge is success. The greatest revenge is success because then she's going to come back to you and stuff like that. And it wasn't 4 months later. He went to the gym a little bit more. He started building up his money more. He started doing, and remember, he just had graduated that way. And all of a sudden she came back. He's like, you don't seem like you're going to be a supportive woman. Do you understand? You don't seem like, you can have some of that sexiness, but that's so supportive and serene. And then she calls me up and says, please talk to him. What? You, dear girl, done. Do you understand? I'm like, no, it's not. It's kind of true. It's like going, and that's why I said, it's like, that's why the guys, you have that advantage that way. It's like, so I wish I could tell guys, don't do what you feel. If you ever look at how guys get themselves in trouble, is they do what they feel.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Or
They do
they
it for-
end up by prison.
Yeah, because what they feel is anger, rage. You know what I'm saying? This, and this. And it's like, and so it's like, because anger, rage is very common for a guy. It really is. Competitiveness. Watch this. Everybody, the sport I liked, which I've never played, we didn't even have a ring, is that nice about hockey. What is the best thing about hockey? The fucking fights.
Checking.
Yeah, hit him hard.
Yeah, I
Hit him
know.
hard. It's like going. It's like goes. You could be pissed. You could walk up and it's like, oh, no penalty. It's like that's why I say if you ever notice football players, it's like it's really funny. The NFL reminds me of the English of why we whoop their ass because they had to be prim and proper, and we're gonna get in line and we're gonna fight the right way. And the fucking guys are like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna be in trees. I'm gonna do this shit. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna stab you in the back. And no one cares how you fought. They care that you won.
Yep.
They care that you won, and I mean this sincerely. I fucking win. Sorry, over spiritualized friend. That I win, and you one day you're gonna wish that your husband was more like fucking me. Do you know what I'm saying? You're gonna wish your pastor was more like fucking me. That was willing to stand up against evil when it comes to your door. Because it's coming. It's coming for you fuckers.
I remember my first Gamblers hockey game.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring it up, but I was bored. I was falling asleep, and then a fight started.
Yeah.
Let's go!
That's
Let's
right.
go! I stood up and I was like,
Yeah.
sorry, I blew up there a little bit.
That's
10
right.
o'clock at night, but
That's right. That's why I can't believe that a lot of hockey players come from Canada because they're just wusses. You know
I
what I'm
take off here, guy. You know,
That's right.
losers.
So
You know? What are you talking about?
yeah, it's gonna be South Park. Their floppy heads. You're saying so. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, it was a good discussion tonight.
Good.
Good discussions. I missed you guys last week. Great job,
Thank you,
Lorenzo,
thank you.
and stuff like that. Great job, everybody was on that way. So, final thoughts. Anybody got any final thoughts? Dan, let's start with you. Quick final thought. What you got?
We gotta stop being a bunch of pussies.
There we go,
There you
Dave.
go.
Being strong wins.
Too many soy boys and bitches be tripping, and we need to do something different here. We gotta get back to the drawing board because it's not working, So.
Oh,
I
well, I'm
think
the
we
woman,
need-
so I'll use some more words, I guess. The only thing I was going to say tonight is, look, like we change the world one by one, right? And that's like one conversation by one conversation, whether it's one-on-one or, doing the things that we're doing here, because you never know who you're actually talking to. And I think that every time you talk to someone and you have conversation with them about important things that are going on in culture and things that you want to change in culture, you need to treat that person as if they will make or break the world, because you never know who actually will.
Dean.
Well, she said she was the woman and she had to use more words, so I guess I'll just say,
I still talk fast, so it
Yeah,
seemed like less
that's true.
words.
You got to be competitive. Everything's a game. Everything's a challenge. Everything's win or lose. There's no second place. It's win or lose. And the advice I got, I had a trucking company I owned for a while, and one of the guys that was helping with it, he said, "Dude, I want you to be successful, but if you falter, I'll be the first one to step my foot on the back of your neck and put you out of business." And we were friends. We still are friends.
Yeah. I like that
That's
guy.
that competition.
Yep. Antonio.
Well, I mean, before this podcast and all this my stuff, it's like, man, this world's going in a pretty steep direction. Like, how the heck do we reel this back in? It's by doing this.
Yep.
By getting people out from behind their keyboard into the room. Like, hey, answer it right here, right now. Let me know what you think. And then we can peel that back like an onion. So please, like, share this. This is how these
Like,
things
comment,
happen. It
subscribe.
might,
Like
some
it.
words might hurt a little bit, but you need to hear it.
Agree.
Yeah, I'm just watching all people right now. So, yeah, now get this. Next time, so we got a couple weeks that I'm not going to be on. So we have our wonderful co-hosts that are going to be here. And then the next time I'm going to be on, we're going to be live from Hawaii.
2 weeks.
It's kind of nice.
I'll be there for that one.
Sure, you can come along.
Yeah, come on. I'll be.
Fine.
So
You
your
know-
daughter's gonna be there, so it's kind of nice. But no, come join us. It's gonna be kind of fun. We got a lot of stuff going on that way, and because I think we taped a show. I think you guys are gonna be doing live when I'm gone and stuff, and because I'm actually
We
be
got a
gone.
plan.
I'm be gone for the next 5 weeks and stuff as I'm traveling all over the world. I got wonderful book tour seminars to do. I got because once again the I Disagree seminar had become very popular and stuff like that. And we just had our first launch of it last week, and it was great because all the things we're talking about right here now, same thing we talked about before. And there's pastors sitting there, there's physicians sitting there, there's general public sitting there, there's professionals, there's stay-home moms, there's everything. And what's really funny is after I'm done, people resonate with it a lot. And like I said, it's like I'm willing to articulate my ideas and go out there and speak and on the things of health, men and women, politics, and religion and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny. And you're right. Like I said, just go back to the Travis example. If you walk around with a shirt off, guess what happens? Soy boys are going to be pissed off. Boss bitches are going to complain. But people that are truly feminine and guys that are working to get better and make themselves better, it's going to be asking them for help. You know what I'm saying?
If you think it's weird that I have my shirt off in the office, you should be around here when I'm asking for a raise.
Yeah, that's right.
The bottom half comes off too.
That's right. And it works. Okay.
Doc, I'll do anything for an A.
That's right. So, anyways, thank you guys for always watching. We appreciate it. It's been fantastic doing the show and everything. So keep it moving forward. And like I said, thank you guys that commented and all the comments that way. Please do me a favor, push a like on there and stuff, and then share it and watch. Remember, subscribe. I have ADP, a different perspective on Saturday mornings. We have all the Wellness Play stuff. Travis is gonna start doing some videos. Well, Daniel already has some
Coming
disagrees coming soon and stuff. And then we will see you guys, and you guys will see them next week. And I'll see you guys. I will see you guys back in about a couple weeks, and then I won't be back for a while, sometime in December. So it'll be Christmas time the next time. We'll have to wear Christmas hair. So, all right.
decorate.
See you guys soon.